BC Place. Somebody's going to turn it around, and somebody's going to keep going down. Argos and Lions on the CFL Live. Hi again, folks. James Duthie, along with three of the best-dressed guys on this panel, Eric Tillman, Matt Dunnigan, and Chris Schultz. And if desperation breeds success, well, then somebody's going to be successful tonight, because these are some desperate dudes. These teams both look at each other and say, hey, this is an opportunity for us to turn our seasons around. Somebody's going to be right. Somebody's going to be wrong. As for the Argos, what do they have to do to be right?
Well, right now, the Toronto Argonauts are making too many mistakes on the football field, and mistakes in football come in various forms. You have fumbles, interceptions, penalties, and mental errors. They've done them all. Now, Toronto is improving, but they're improving very gradually. The biggest improvements they have made is they finally adopted a CFL-style offense, and it's starting to work, and they have signed some new players that have made an impact. Johnny Scott, for example, but still, it's a very slow progression. The bottom line is Toronto has to keep this game close. If they keep it close in the fourth, they've got a shot. Now, they have to, because they're not a come-from-behind team. They're not necessarily a confident team. Confident teams have the ability to come from behind. So if they keep it close, going in the fourth, I think they got a shot to win. And they just might, because of their defensive line and linebackers, James, but they got to keep it close.
As for the Lions, I mentioned it before the break, it has to be a little bit of a weird night for Damon Allen, because he can make history, and this is a big record. Most completions ever, and yet the team is struggling so badly.
Yeah, it is, James. And did I say I want to be on Kate's boat?
Yeah, Kate's boat.
Yes, it is. Big night for Damon Allen. He's fixing to be the league leader in pass completions. He may not know when. Why? Because he's not calling his plays. He doesn't know when a pass play is going to be called. I think this may be a reason why we see Damon Allen be inconsistent. It's always Damon's not emotional enough. He's not playing with enough passion. Well, when you don't call your own plays and you're looking to the sidelines for plays to come in, oftentimes you become like a robot out there, and you can't get in the flow of the game. You can't anticipate what's happening in the offensive coordinator's mind. I know Joe Powell called his plays when he was playing in his days in Saskatchewan and at BC, and he knows the importance of giving his quarterback the reins to become more passionate, more into the football game, and get in the flow of things by calling his own plays. I believe this thing and this situation is the biggest problem we see with the BC Lions, and let Damon call his plays, Eric.
Well, Matty, you threw for almost 44,000 yards, and I never completed a pass in this league, but I still disagree with you. I think there are differing schools of thought here, and I throw my good friend George Cortez at Calgary out as an example. George calls all the plays. It wasn't Jeff Garcia, it wasn't Dave Dickinson, and it certainly has worked there. I think the real problem in BC is not Joe Powell, it's not Damon Allen, it's the fact that the receiving core is not good enough or consistent enough. That's not Damon's fault, and it's certainly not Joe Powell's.
All right, we are ready for football out in BC. It is the Argos and the BC Lions. Greg Mons is at his last stand. We'll find out. Kickoff coming up. Stay with us, everybody. Enjoy the game.
For ex-Lions playing for the Argos, it's time to step it up. And time for all the boys in blue to follow their leader.
This game, like every game, will come down to trench warfare. It'll be a battle of wills. Both teams are reeling. Both teams are backed into a corner. The question tonight will be, who wants it more?
We're inside BC Place Stadium, and the natives are restless. After finishing first last year, much more was expected from the BC Lions. 4 losses in a row just doesn't cut it. Tonight is a critical game, and against a team that has struggled even more.
After a win in Week 1, John Heward's Argos have managed just one tie. He has revamped the offense twice and is yet to find a winning combination. The pressure's on the captain of this good ship Argonaut. It's taking on water.
Greg Mons has been bristling at recent criticisms of his team. He is on the hot seat on the West Coast and desperate to turn things around in Game 1 against the Toronto Argonauts. Good place to start. 12 guys on the field. You see Mons counting down there.
You got to have 12. Well, Damon Allen has been under a little bit of pressure all season long from the media and from the fans here in Vancouver. Talked to him before the game. He shrugs it off. He's been there before. He's ready to play tonight.
And closing in on another Ron Lancaster record, Damon Allen is 3 completions behind Ron Lancaster on the all-time list, and of course chasing Lancaster for the all-time yardage, which is a possibility for Damon Allen this year if he gets this team turned around and rolling.
Still needs to average just over 250 yards per game for the rest of the way to catch Ron Lancaster in yardage, but he will definitely catch him in completions tonight.
Ready for the kickoff, the first of 2. between the Argos and the BC Lions back-to-back. This is Levy on the return, and he's out across the 30 to the 35, and met there by Marcelo Simmons, a 15-yard return. Damon Allen is looking for answers to a 4-game skid, no doubt about it. He'll need better concentration from his receiving corps. It has been inconsistent this season, and all of a sudden Sean Millington has become the best back in the BC backfield. Up front, Jamie Terrace moves to center, and Dan Payne to right guard. The changes for the Leos up front. Allen with 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions so far. And on first down, Sean Millington off right tackle.
Defensively for the Toronto Argonauts, up front, Tyrone Rogers gets the start at tackle. Johnny Scott, 1 sack on the year. Kelvin Tiggle, last year's outstanding defensive player, plays the middle linebacker spot. In the secondary, just 3 interceptions amongst the 5 guys. They need to become ball hawks tonight to give their team a chance to win.
Johnny Scott gets a chance to play against his old BC mates tonight for the very first time. So you'd expect he'll have a pretty good game. Gain was 8. This is 2nd and 2. And going nowhere. First flag of the game. Second play from scrimmage. And it'll be procedure. Somewhat hard to explain procedure calls with a veteran offensive line.
Illegal procedure. BC 23. Still 2nd down.
But then you got a guy like Levy who was the culprit there, and he's only been around for 3 games.
Yeah, and Chuck Levy will see a lot of action tonight. What the Lions are going to try and do is move him into different spots on the field. They've been playing him as a receiver. They're going to put him in the backfield, and they're actually going to play him and Robert Drummond as tight ends tonight, just to see how the Argos will adjust to that.
Lions look at 2nd and 7 as a result of the penalty. Allen bobbled it, got it back, fires, and a little high. Jason Crum was absolutely creamed as he went up for that ball.
Antonius Bonner comes across and just hammers him. The ball is thrown high, and you got to give Jason Crum credit for going up. That takes courage, because he's extending his arms, and he's going up for a high throw from Damon Allen, and watch how he gets hit at the end of the play. Pow! That's a decleater. That's what that's called, when all the cleats are pointing straight up in the air.
Number 10 on number 10, and a kicking situation. Lou Pasaglia standing at the Lion 25. And Mike Pinball Clemens back near the Argo 30. Louis been kicking well lately. This is Andre Williams returning for Toronto, and good special teams tackling to limit the return to 9 yards. Argos have finally decided Jimmy Kemp gives them the best chance to win. They need to find a way to get the ball to Daryl Mitchell and decide on a regular running back in the backfield. Up front has been a struggle all season long for Toronto. Only Jude St. John or Val St. John has been there all season long. Six touchdowns, 5 interceptions for Jimmy Kemp. Michael Jenkins.
Defensively for the BC Lions, Herman Smith is their sack leader with 4 sacks on the season. Kelly Lockbaum gets his first start in the linebacking core. The secondary is exactly the same set of players that played last week versus the Calgary Stampeders.
Bill Cantor, one of the bright spots for the Lions up front. He really came into his own late last season and has found a starting job in BC for all games thus far. Kemp near side has Daryl Mitchell. Mitchell away from the first tackler, turns it up, and he's forced out by Eric Carter.
Well, we've talked about it many times. Whenever you're talking about the Argos, in some point you're talking about Daryl Mitchell and trying to get Daryl Mitchell the football. This time Jimmy Kemp just goes to the outside. It's sort of the last read in the coverage when he throws it out there, and then he just hopes his guy can make one guy miss and get a first down, and that's exactly what Daryl Mitchell does.
He's been averaging just 3 catches a game in recent weeks. Not enough. Got 2 touchdowns week 1 and 1 since. 14 yards the gain for the Argonauts, just shy of midfield. Jenkins again, and he had a great week in his first week as an Argonaut, stopped by Benefield. Jenkins is stopped near the 50. Gain is 6.
Both teams offensively trying to establish a bit of a running game. We saw the Lions when they had the ball, they gave it on first down to Sean Millington. Now Jenkins has seen the ball a couple of times. They want to establish the line of scrimmage because, like we've said many times, that's where the game is won and lost. And I truly believe that the emotional level of both these teams is going to be key tonight. The Lions were very low emotionally last week against Calgary. Whoever wins that battle, I think, wins this game.
Yeah, that goes back to their first meeting when Calgary absolutely annihilated BC and sent them on this tailspin. That's Jenkins one more time, and on second down, Benefield is there again and stopped him short.
You see them celebrate, John. That's what I'm talking about. Right there, Keith Franklin comes up after Benefield makes a tackle in the backfield, and he starts slapping him in the helmet. Didn't see any of that from the BC Lions last week versus the Calgary Stampeders. This week, it looks like they're coming to play, and they're going to have a little bit of fun. This game is emotional. Football is a fun game to play. It's emotional. Yes, it's intense, but you can't have a low emotional level if you want to win, and Greg Mons has got him fired up by the looks of it.
Kicking situation for the Argos. Noel Prefontaine and Jimmy the Jet waits for it. Cunningham near the 10. He needs much more north-south yardage than east-west, and that's been a problem for Cunningham in recent times. Allen gets another crack at it when we return. It's CFL Live from Vancouver. No scoring yet.
CFL football on TSN is brought to you by Molson Canadian. I am Canadian.
First and 10 for the Lions. What does Damon Allen have to do to really crank this team up?
Well, I think he just has to be consistent. He has to do what he's really been doing. He hasn't played poorly. He just hasn't ignited the team. He hasn't gone down the field. I think they got to air it out tonight.
Nice play action fake. Allen does that well, and he airs it out. That's Chuck Levy, number 23.
This is the formation I was talking about. Chuck Levy lining up as a tight end right there and then shooting down the seam. Something that the Toronto Argonauts have not seen when they watched the game films against the BC Lions. Chuck Levy as a tight end. Now who's going to cover Chuck Levy? They go with Vernon Mitchell, but Vernon Mitchell was out of position. He's not seen Chuck Levy in that spot.
Nice gain of 18 yards, and the Lions run across their 30. At the 33 with another first down. Drummond, Millington, and Levy all on the field at the same time. This is Robert Drummond. 28 receptions, 296 yards for Drummond. He's been used as a receiver a lot more so far this season.
Yeah, well, we know when Robert Drummond and Sean Millington are second and third on the team in receiving yardage is not a great sign.
Means the outside guys aren't catching enough.
Well, it means your 4 starting receivers aren't catching enough. Absolutely right. And that's been a problem spot for the BC Lions, no question about it. They need to get more production out of Don Blair, Alfred Jackson, Rocky Henry, and Jimmy Cunningham.
2nd and 8. Allen will put it up. Here's the heat. Allen is wrapped up by Dunbrack, number 70, his 4th sack of the season.
Alfred Jackson was upset on the play because he was running one-on-one with Adrian Smith and actually got open on the curl, but because of Roger Dunbrack's pressure for his 4th sack, Damon Allen didn't have a chance to get it off. Dunbrack's going to give you the pressure up the middle, so he gets the free go. And right to the top of your screen there was Alfred Jackson. Damon Allen saw him, he just couldn't get rid of the football. Not Jackson's fault, not Damon's fault, just a miscommunication on the offensive line allowed Dunbrack free. A couple of changes up there, John, for the BC Lions as well when they had to move Jamie Terrace in there. Now, he can play center, but they've had to move him in there because Scott Hendrickson is moved to a backup spot because in October he'll be taking a job with the fire department here in Vancouver.
So as a fireman, he can only work part-time, I guess.
Well, he doesn't want to get hurt.
Andre Williams lets it bounce twice, and he's surrounded by Lions. He'll lose about 20 unless he can turn the corner here, and he's unable to do that. What a great tackle.
Big play.
Minus 12 on the return. Kelly Lockbaum gets the start tonight, and he's solid on special teams. Great tackle right there. John Heward's Argos scored 41 points last week and didn't win. Here's Farhan Lousy.
Thanks, John. Along with the 3 players that were involved in the trade between these 2 teams last week, there is one other player who is also playing against his former team tonight. Johnny Scott, back in BC after 5 seasons as a Lion. Now, the Lions parted ways with Scott because they questioned his attitude, and they felt that he didn't play hard on every play. I asked Scott about that, and he said, you know what? I am 300 pounds, and there is no way that I'm running 30 to 40 yards downfield after a pass completion. He does plan to show the Lions, though, that he is a different player this year.
Here's the Argonauts first down, and Jenkins gets another carry.
Well, you know Johnny Scott will be fired up for this game. He has heard the things that Greg Mons has said about him. And whenever you're a player that you've been traded, even if you've been traded in good terms, you want to come back and prove that it was a mistake to trade you. So we'll watch Johnny Scott tonight.
Well, there are others on the BC Lions that feel the team misses his attitude and inspiration at times. The coach was not one, however.
That's right, and that's a problem.
This is 2nd and 5, and this will be an Argonaut first down out to the 45. Daryl Mitchell has a couple of catches early. We said he needed a few.
You know, sometimes what you do is you beat defensive backs with your speed. Sometimes you just beat them with your mind, your head. You use your head. You find a hole and you just sit down. This is not speed. This is not ability athletically. All this is being smart. Daryl Mitchell sees a little hole, and he'll just check up right there and give Jimmy Kemp a target.
Stefan Potasic flanks to the far side. Mitchell near side of the field. 1st and 10. Argos at the 46. Shotgun. Jenkins has it again. Breaks one tackle. He's out to the 50 and still going. Caught from behind by Keith Franklin, number 11. Great run by Jenkins, who's running like he did in week 1 and picks up 24 there.
Well, the big part of this play for Jenkins was the tackle he broke in the hole, because he was caught basically on the line of scrimmage. But that's what we say about running backs. You got to make that first guy miss. You make that first guy miss right there, now you got some room.
Huge gain, 24 yards. The Argos are on a roll. Set up at the BC Lion 40-yard line. First down. 3 receivers near side. It's fake to Jenkins, and he swings it to English coming out of the backfield. Another substantial gain for the Argos down to the 25, and Raphael Robinson made the tackle there. Keys to success tonight for both these teams, starting with Toronto.
Well, I think Toronto has to protect the quarterback better. Giving up 16 sacks in 3 games, they've had to make changes on that offensive line every single week. The BC Lions need to air it out. Throw that football down the field. They're only averaging 19 points. They need more. And both teams have to show some emotion. We talked about that. The team that has their emotional level to the highest point right now will win this football game.
And we've seen a little more emotion from the Lions in particular tonight. Another fake by Kent. Nice toss, looking to the end zone, and Kerwin can't run underneath it. Andre Kerwin was the target, and I think he left the building.
He's gone out of the building, back into the locker room for a second.
Under the stand.
Got a drink of water. But you know what this does, though? It wasn't completed from Jimmy Kemp, but it's a good sign, and it's a good indication of how Jimmy Kemp is thinking. We're going to stretch that defense. Go after him deep. You don't complete the pass. But Raphael Ball, who was covering on the play, he now knows that there's a possibility that Kemp will go over top on him. So that's going to back him up a little bit, give him a little bit more cushion, which may open up underneath patterns for the Argos.
This drive began back at the Argo 28. 5 plays. They're at the BC 27. Jenkins stopped initially, got away again, but not enough to squirm for a first down this time. Lockbaum, number 33, making the tackle for the Lions.
Well, 3rd and 10 to run the football is, you basically are saying we've got to fool them.
Now for the Argos, who are in field goal range here, this is not all that bad a drive considering the way things have gone this season. They had some big plays and began this back at the 28 for a field goal try from 30. Jacob Marini has been good on 11 of 13. Spotted at the 30, and he missed this one. Cunningham stepped out of bounds and didn't have any chance to make a decision there. So the Argos settle for a single. Not quite what was in the game plan. It's CFL Live from Vancouver. Tomorrow on TSN, day 2 of the PGA Championship. Tiger Woods is atop the leaderboard as our coverage continues tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Scott Dunlap is even with him. Big day for Calgary resident Stephen Ames.
It was. I watched him on 18. He was going into 18 with a chance at eagle, had a real long putt uphill and missed the birdie by an inch and parred it, so he finishes at -3, but he's right in the thick of things.
You are Mr. Golf. Sean Millington to about the 42. Donovan Carter makes the tackle. Carter's a pretty good story for the Argonauts. #1 pick for Toronto in the 2000 draft. It's a chance to see a little more action every week, it seems to me.
Right at Brampton, Ontario. Was injured in the first game, really didn't get a whole lot of chance there, but has really come on, like you mentioned. Anytime you get a rookie that can start consistently for you, you've made a good choice in your draft.
Millington got 7. This is 2nd and 3. Almost picked off. That was awfully close. Martavius Houston had an opportunity to take Damon Allen all the way the wrong way.
You know what? Martavius Houston was trying to make a decision when he broke on that football. He broke on it. He thought, can I get there? Can I not get there? Because if he doesn't get there, Millington catches the ball and turns the corner. He decides to play it safe and just knock the ball down rather than go for the interception. And we've seen it a lot this year. The throw goes out there. If Houston decides to go for the pick and misses it, you see Millington catches it, turns the corner, picks up big yardage. He plays it safe, gets the knockdown, and when he looks at the film, he'll say, you know, I should have had that one.
Yeah. So Lou Pasaglia has been busy already tonight. The Lions have not moved the ball as effectively as the Argonauts, but still only trail by a point. Pinball Clemens standing back at his 30. Pasaglia hasn't the opportunity to get it away, but he'll get a first down here as Buffo picks it up. Simon Buffo. And I don't know, was that a design fake, or did Louis have a charge coming out?
No way.
It was a charge.
There is no way that was a design play. Louis Pasaglia was going to get the punt blocked. He could see the pressure, but calm, cool veteran Louis Pasaglia decides to pull it down and take off. This is what you call the old fire play. You see the block was coming. He gets out of there. Now he's yelling, fire, fire, and he's hoping someone turns around. Simon Buffo does, and they pick up a big first down.
Biggest play of the game for the Lions. It nets 23. No opportunity to get the kick away, and Louis Pasaglia, a quarterback in his day.
Well, for the record, he's now 22 of 36 passing in his career in the CFL.
Jimmy Cunningham nailed as he caught the ball.
Not bad for a punter.
No, not bad. And that will tie him with Ron Lancaster for all-time completions.
Not Louis.
No.
Damon Allen.
That will tie Damon Allen.
Damon Allen now tied with Ron Lancaster. One more completion away from taking that record.
So that is 3,384 in Damon's career.
And we saw a great record drop last night. Alan Pitts, congratulations again to him. Became the leading receiver in Canadian Football League history.
Millington finds a huge hole. He's to the Toronto 25, and Bonner had to come over and make the tackle. Sean Millington is being featured as the #1 back in this BC offense in the last couple of games.
Well, when you say #1, that's because he's the only back that usually lines up back there. They're playing Robert Drummond to the outside, a good hole at the point of attack, and this has been something that the fans here have been frustrated with. The Lions went out and bought a veteran offensive line. They haven't seen them play like it yet.
Gain of 14, and there's the record. Damon Allen has Robert Drummond and is now 1 completion ahead of Ron Lancaster's record. And the record was set 22 years ago when Lancaster retired.
Maybe what's most amazing about the fact that Damon Allen passed that record, and he's getting a huge ovation from the crowd right now because of it, is that he's always been considered a running quarterback. Standing ovation for Damon Allen, well-deserved. He may just catch Ron Lancaster in yardage this year as well. Those are records, John, that no one thought would ever be broken.
I have to agree with you. We were sitting with Russ Jackson at a Hamilton Tiger Cat news conference some time ago, and he thought his old partner Ron Lancaster, when they played together in Ottawa, that the numbers that Ron put up in 18 seasons would never be matched by any quarterback. But Damon Allen has got there in the completion department and closes in on the yards with every pass completed, and has a shot to do it in the year 2000. Allen Looks to the end zone. The touchdown toss for Jackson. They call it a catch and a touchdown.
This is what the BC Lions have been starving for all season long. Throw the football down the field. Alfred Jackson busts out of his pattern on a post, goes right to the middle of the end zone, and Damon Allen, pumped up after breaking the record, puts another completion right in the hands of Alfred Jackson.
Nice pass. It was very deep in the end zone, and the signal was a little late in coming as they checked for footprints back there. First touchdown reception for Alfred Jackson this season.
Well, in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
He goes back. He never had one last year either. He's now tied with Craig Hendrickson in touchdown catches on the Lions.
Craig Hendrickson got his first ever last week, and he's a backup offensive lineman. Caught a 7-yard pass late in the game.
Well, there is a bounce to Alfred Jackson's step tonight. I've watched him on a couple of plays, and he is really running hard. Damon Allen throws this one on a rope on the money. Steps up in there, plants, and look at the separation that Alfred Jackson has on maybe the best cover guy that the Argos have in Adrian Smith. But he is running hard, and Alfred Jackson comes down here, and he'll cut across the face of Adrian Smith. Corners on that side of the field, when you're on the short side, you always want to try and keep inside position. Inside meaning closer to the middle of the field. When Adrian Smith gave that up, Alfred Jackson made him pay for it.
1 foot down in the end zone for Alfred Jackson's first touchdown catch of the year. It's from Damon Allen, covered 19 yards, and this is a little more of what we were expecting from the BC Lions offense over the last 4 games.
It really is. And, you know, Alfred Jackson, in my mind, is still a premier receiver in the league. This is a guy that back in 1997 had 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns receiving. He went to the NFL. He was tried out down there as a defensive back. He came back. It has taken him a while to get on track. Maybe this is the game for Alfred Jackson. A good drive for the Lions.
Yeah, 7 plays, 75 yards. Pasaglia's fake punt kept it rolling. Out at the 40, that's where the Argonauts will begin. So
now,
Jimmy Kemp hitting on 48% of his passes. Moved the Argos well the last time he had his hands on the ball. Came up short, and then they missed the field goal.
well, you know what? John Hewart has done a nice job of sort of deflecting attention in some ways by always having this quarterback controversy. You know what? Forget about the quarterback controversy with the Argos. Their backups are Greg Hill and O.T. Sampson. Those guys are not ready to play yet. Jimmy Kemp is their only chance to win.
Yeah, but most of the time the quarterbacking controversy is started by the media.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
This time it started by the head coach.
Well, forget about it, because there is none. Jimmy Kemp has got to be the guy.
Here's Jenkins, and he was wrapped up and then hammered by Raphael Ball while he was in the grasp.
Yeah, Keith Franklin got in on that too. He's leading the team in tackles, and he's a safety. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Usually it is in most defenses if your safety leads your team in tackles. But not so for Franklin, because he's often down low in the linebacking core as the wrecker in that defense of Don Lindsay's. And that's where he is. That's where he is right now, John, right there, down low.
At the 41, second down for Kemp. And he fired that into way too much traffic. Lucky it went to the ground and not into someone else's arms.
Well, you see, and there's David Benefield getting fired up after a hit. That's something we didn't see last week versus Calgary. David Benefield makes the play, gets a little crossing pattern, and he jumps out of the linebacking core, takes a chance, he sees where the ball's going, and down you go, Andre Kerwan, and then he gets fired up after it, does a little dance. There it comes. That was the end of the dance. Don Lindsay is right there with the glasses on. He's got this defense a little more excited this week than he did last week.
Final play of the opening quarter coming here. Prefontaine stands at his 25. Had a couple blocked last week by the Bombers. And here's Jimmy the Jet. Beginning at the 21. Flags are already down, so this may go for naught. And the return is only about 5. Vernon Mitchell leading the tacklers for Toronto, and it's Damon's turn again.
You know, I talked to Damon Allen before the game, and he was telling me about the frustration that this team has gone through over the last couple of weeks.
BC number 16. First down.
And you know what he said? He said what we had to do is we had to start putting in the extra time. I mean, you go to practice, you go to meetings that the coaches are organizing, you go out for your 2-hour practice. You know what? It takes more than that to win games. Damon Allen knows that. He's a veteran in this league. He said we weren't watching enough film on our own. We weren't watching film together as a group and talking about the running backs, receivers, and quarterbacks. This week, he took it upon himself to start to get those guys together and run their own meetings outside of the team meetings, watch some game film, make sure that they're all reading from the same book.
Well, it's worked so far with Jackson anyway. Chuck Levy, and he's out to about the 15 after taking another pass from Damon Allen. And that is the last play of the quarter because we had the little penalty there. Lions have the lead. It's 7-1 at BC Place.
The CFL live on TSN at the quarter. Brought to you by New Arctic Ice, the invigorating new fragrance of the Gillette series. It's beyond refreshing.
And so Damon Allen is in the history books, and he will be there many more times. He will likely pass Ron Lancaster's all-time yards record shortly as well. And even though he's going to play for a couple of years, it really brings up the discussion, how is he going to be remembered? Because with so much controversy over his career, you don't really think he's going to be remembered as one of the all-time greats despite the records.
James, I don't think he's going to be remembered any but the best that's played in the league. As far as statistics go, I think his performance, his consistency, I think, from year to year and being healthy and producing, yeah, there's levels of up and down, Chris. But hey,
here's what I think.
There's levels of inconsistency there, but yes. I think, I alluded to it earlier, I think it's because he's not calling his own plays. He's a robot out there.
But I think that is a big issue. I think if you're a quarterback and you're not calling your own plays, that means there's an insecurity with the coaching staff. I think that's one of the things that is completely wrong with football is coaches put too much emphasis on what they're doing and giving people on the football field too much where the players need to take it over. And Damon has never taken over a game. You know, I don't know every year what it's been like, but he hasn't been the quarterback that calls his own plays. I think that's a huge difference.
Well, you know, you can blame it on the coaches all you want, Chris and Matt, but the bottom line is this guy's been in the league for 16 years. He's still throwing interceptions in the red zone. We saw a couple weeks ago he took a delay of game and at the end of the game, you know, he's got a lot of ability, but inconsistency is one thing he's going to be remembered for. And
Make it quick, Matty.
My hat's off to Damon Allen. He's leading the league and he's going to lead in everything. And it's amazing to me, James. Hey, the guy should be exalted as opposed to being punched down all the time.
And I think we'll agree, his longevity, his health, his speed will be the things we probably remember most about Damon Allen.
So.
But his career's not done. He's got a lot left. We got to go. We'll keep talking.
I'll take Donegan.
Here are the numbers after the opening quarter. Nice and even. Lots of flow to this football game so far. Not much to choose except that one nice Lion drive.
Well, the big play.
Touchdown.
Yeah, the big play to Alfred Jackson, and that's been the only difference tonight. It's very even after one.
This play whistle down.
I got to get back to what the guys back in the studio were talking about with Damon Allen and him not calling his own plays. I actually talked to Joe Powpow about that before the game, and I asked him about whether or not he thought that maybe Damon should start calling some more of his own plays, and he said, you know what? I'm trying to take a little pressure off of Damon Allen, and what I'm doing is I'm giving him plays that we work on during the week. He said, basically, the plays that I send in, like you just saw him signal in a play there, those plays are plays that Damon Allen likes. And I just try and take that decision away from him on the field, let him relax and just execute, and I try and make those decisions for him. But those are plays that Damon wants, and Damon has decided on in practice.
Penalty against the Lions. This will be 2nd and 9 from the BC 11. Shotgun for Damon Allen. Here's the heat. He got away from that. Room on the sidelines, and he decides to fire it in. Jackson made the catch. Was he in? I thought he was out, and he is. There's a marker down, out of bounds.
Well, it was
the 10.
First of all, it was amazing that Damon Allen got outside of that pressure because the Argos sent everybody. There was not enough Lion blockers in there to take care of them all. But he beat the one guy he had to. That was the guy off the edge. He just didn't have any targets open.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Toronto 72.
Whoa.
First down.
Johnny Scott, and that's a very costly penalty because they had the Lions pinned back. and in a kicking situation. So Scott takes the unnecessary roughness penalty, and this Lion drive will continue.
It was right after Damon Allen went out of bounds. He kind of gave him a push once he had gone out of bounds about 3 or 4 steps. This is the very end of the play. Now he's out of bounds now, 2-3 steps, and Johnny Scott kind of gives him a little push in the back through the advertising and knocking over cheerleaders and stuff over there.
Allen looks deep this time. Wide open. Oh! Solid defensive play. Shaw got there. Sean Graham was the intended receiver, and he was in behind and had a chance to take it all the way.
Well, Wayne Shaw showed some great catch-up speed because he was beat, John. You're absolutely right. Sean Graham in behind him by about 4 steps. But look at this catch-up speed when the ball's in the air. Time your jump, knock that ball down. But I love the call again. Damon Allen going down the field with the football. Even though Wayne Shaw made that play, he's now thinking, oh, they're going to go deep. I didn't see him go deep last week. They're going to go deep this week.
Shaw had a big-time interception return against the Blue Bombers last week. That was part of the reason he was selected Defensive Player of the Week. 2nd and 10 Lions. Allen, man open far side, just missed.
Wide open. Can't believe it. Wide open. You don't get many chances like that. Damon Allen would love to have that one back. You don't get a whole lot of chances with a guy that wide open. It's just a matter of getting him the football and making the catch. And Robert Drummond just snuck out of there, goes down the sideline. A broken coverage by the Argo defense, and look at how open he is. What's the old saying? It's a game of inches.
Game of inches.
We got to start saying it's a game of centimeters now. In the metric now.
We've been metric for 25 years. Still yards out on the football
still
field.
Yards and still inches.
Passaglia across his 15. Last time he kicked, he had to pull it down and complete a pass. Mike Clemens will give the Argos good field position. With a 5-yard return, the Argos are near midfield and down by 6. It's CFL Live from the stadium at BC Place.
This half of the CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. The Simply the Best Clear Out event is on now.
Argos begin this drive in great shape from the 53, 1st down. Jenkins, he's run well for Toronto and is more than halfway to a 1st down.
You know,
5
John
yards.
talked about the offensive line at the beginning of the show, and they've had to make so many adjustments up front on that offensive line. Jude St. John, as we mentioned, the only consistency throughout the season. Every single week had to make changes. I think the pressure is on them tonight, and you know what? So far, they played pretty well because the Argos have run the ball effectively. Jimmy Kemp has had decent time to throw, so they're holding their own right now.
Jude St. John, not to be confused with Val St. John.
Val
I
St.
mentioned that
Germain.
earlier. Yeah, that's Val St. Germain. You get your Saints mixed up every once in a while. Here's Jimmy Kemp. Had an opening, it closed, and Kemp dives toward the 1st down marker. He's got 4 at least, and he might be about a half a yard shy.
It closed because he wanted Andre Kerwan, and Andre Kerwan just wasn't open, and that's the problem. Kemp was over there. He had time to throw, but he didn't have a receiver to throw to. Whenever you roll out like Kemp did in that, you take away half of the field. You're basically just dealing now with half of the receivers. They're going to gamble here.
Yeah. Not a bad plan.
You always think you should be able to get 1 yard.
Well, when you're a team that really needs to put an impressive show on the field, this might be a pretty good idea, and Kemp will have the 1st down without a problem. Raphael Robinson.
Well, that's one of the best tests. Sorry, John. That's one of the best tests for your offensive line is on a 3rd and 1 gamble. Can they fire off the ball, get lower than that defensive line, and get you the 1st down?
I thought he had it. I really did.
Well, they might bring the sticks out yet.
Well, they're having a little closer look at it. Robinson, I started to say Raphael Robinson, 22 for the Lions, was saying no, he didn't make it. But it'll be up to the guys with the stripes. I thought he had enough forward momentum.
And the guy who put his foot down, no, held him short.
Turnover.
You know, John, it looked like to me that he had the 1st down. I would agree with you, but You never know what happens by the time he gets to the bottom of the pile. The referee will run over and try and line it up with his eye. He can't, obviously, look at that. Look what he's looking at.
Yeah, I think they
they
pushed him back
well,
somehow
sure.
or other, and I think he had the first down.
I think he did initially as well,
Yep.
but you look in it and you look down as an official and you're saying, okay, by the time they get to that pile, where is he? And by the time they got there, he had been pushed back.
Well, you could see him being pushed back, but I thought his forward progress was enough for a first down. Anyway, my idea on the 3rd and 1 gamble, obviously a poor one. Levy will throw after taking the catch. This is a wounded duck. It's up for grabs. And Don Blair couldn't bring it home. Should have made the catch in spite of the fact that it was a little bit wobbly. Blair had time to make the catch. And it's been that kind of a year for Don Blair.
Oh, it really has.
8 catches in 3 games.
He has not had a good season. Of course, he had some medical problems we've talked about many times early in the year, and he's really just getting into it. But a little surprise play from the BC Lions. Now, I count 3 plays that they've had golden opportunities. Don Blair's running free. Not a great throw from Chuck Levy. That was sort of...
Yeah, well, maybe it wasn't a real easy catch to make. It was a quacker, no question about it. Allen on the run, and on the money.
Oh!
And Blair got hammered. He couldn't hang on to that one either. Bonner, Antonius Bonner.
That's number 2 for him.
Yeah.
Oh! Man! Well, there's a penalty flag down after the fact, but Don Blair is not sure what the flag's about, not sure what game he's in, I'm sure. Oh, man, Antonius Bonner.
Yeah, a moment ago he was seeing ducks. Now he's seeing birdies down there.
Exactly. Oh, boy. Well, to his credit, he's up and back in the huddle. Woo!
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Toronto 73.
Oh,
First
man,
down.
another bad penalty from the Argos.
Calvin Tiggle.
Yeah. Calvin Tiggle. That's 1 for Johnny Scott, 1 for Calvin Tiggle. Keeps drives alive for the Lions. What a hit by Antonius Bonner.
Yeah, and 3rd down was coming up.
Check out this one. Hello, bam, right in the chin.
Well timed by Antonius Bonner.
Little chin music.
You're right. And with the penalty, the Lions are set up again in Toronto territory.
Oh, they're
Sean
hit.
Millington, and he was nailed.
Yeah, Vernon Mitchell stepped up and put a pretty nice hit on a big back. Sean Millington's 225. Vernon Mitchell came up and just turned him around. We saw a very physical game last night in Calgary, and we're seeing another physical game. Antonius Bonner with a couple of big hits. Mitchell there on Sean Millington, and they're hitting. He's got to get his mouth guard back in there. There it is.
Gain was 3 yards, thanks to Mitchell. So this is 2nd and 7 for the Lions. Right on the Argo 45. Allen with time, and he drills this one to Alfred Jackson.
There's another
Wayne
flag
Shaw
down, John.
made the tackle.
Another flag. It's right on the line of scrimmage.
Jackson has the touchdown tonight.
They're talking to the Argos right now, but I think it might go against them. And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, the explanation going to the Argos. John Heward will get it later.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Toronto number 6. Penalties declined. First down.
Vernon Mitchell, but that was away from the play. That wasn't on the Alfred Jackson side. Alfred Jackson caught the ball. He was running on Wayne Shaw. So on the opposite side of the field, a little grabbing going on from Vernon Mitchell.
So this drive for the Lions continues after a 14-yard gain, the result of a penalty. Lions at the Argonauts 31. Allen, quick handoff. Robert Drummond.
Well, this is the balance offensively that we've been expecting all year from the BC Lions. A little bit of run with 2 big pounding backs, a little bit of pass, and a little more vertical passing game. What I mean by that is go deep. Enough of this hook and under and hitch pass stuff. Let's see the ball down the field. Joe Palpel's got him going.
So you lower your voice a little bit when you say go deep.
Go deep.
Go deep. 2nd and 7. Allen with time, sliding out of the backfield. Jimmy the Jet, he turns him on. Couldn't quite get around the corner. Martavius Houston finally caught up to the Jet.
Martavius Houston is a very good linebacker, but this is an awful tough task because you need to get some help in the middle. Jimmy the Jet's just going to come across here. Now, if you don't get any help, you're in a chase position, and Martavius Houston is in a chase the whole way. See the Jet to the left of your screen. He's in a chase. He needs help from number 2, Donovan Carter. If Donovan Carter just gets a little piece of Jimmy the Jet, he gets some help. But look at the distance right there between Martavius Houston and the Jet. He's in a chase all the way.
19 yards for the Lions, now set up at the Argonaut 10-yard line. Allen to the end zone, can't find anyone open, may take off himself, and is caught from behind. It looked like he had an opportunity to take it the 10 yards he needed, but Dunbrack, number 70 for the Argos, grabbed him by the ankles.
Didn't think that Dunbrack was behind him. He thought he had the free run, but Dunbrack with some good second effort. He's going to try and get his win back after that. It's not easy chasing Damon Allen around the field.
Dunbrack has 1 sack tonight. This drive for the Lions began at the 47.
Well, 8 plays, but 2 penalties have been a big part of that as well.
2nd and goal to go from the 7. Allen looking to the end zone and tries to slide in. I think he's out at the 1. Just shy of the goal line.
Well, decision time for Greg Mons. And he's sending in the big guys. He's sending in the big guys, John. I think they're going to go.
Well, that'll mean a couple of Hendricksons out there.
Yeah, the big elephants are in there now. You take all the little receivers out, put in the big elephants for some more push. It is a yard and a half, basically 2 yards.
Yeah, almost 2. Almost 2.
You know what? And we saw Craig Hendrickson catch a pass out of this formation last week, so it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to run when they have the elephants in there.
Lions go gambling and looking for the touchdown. It's 3rd down, goal to go, 2-yard line. Robert Drummond, and he gets it home. The gamble pays off for Greg Mons. Moments ago, it went sour for John Heward.
You know what? If Greg Mons, if the Lions hang on to win and this game turns their season around,
that'll be a huge play. They'll think about that.
I'm telling you, that will be a play they'll look back at and say, you know what? That was a huge gamble. We went for it. We went and got it.
We've been sitting together too long because I'm now stealing all your lines. You had a great point to make there, and I just saw the light bulb over your head and said, that's what he's going to say.
It was that thought bubble on my head that you're just reading it.
The gamble pays off for the BC Lions, and they took possession of the football right after the Argos failed on 3rd and 1. Louis Passaglia looks to convert the 2nd BC Lion touchdown. And here's how it looked with Drummond steamrolling his way into the end zone for his first rushing touchdown of the year. Greg Mons a very happy guy after that last touchdown gamble paid off from almost 2 yards out.
Great block right at the point of attack by Chris Perez on the down block. Watch him come down, fold it in there, and Fred Perry, and then here comes Robert Drummond, a little second effort, and that's a gutsy call and a typical reaction from Greg Mons when you can succeed on a gutsy call like that. Yeah, baby.
He made the decision, and it paid off. Mike Clemens, the pinball, is out near the 40.
John, I don't think I can emphasize it enough. That was 2 yards. That's like 2 miles down there, and it really is. All you need is a good surge from that defensive line, and it is over.
Yeah, and Robert Drummond made the play. I mean, that was not an easy run for him from 2 yards out. 10 plays, 63 yards. Drummond, the 2-yard run, the roughing penalty was the key play, I think.
Well, it kept the drive alive.
Yeah.
Kept the drive alive, and they end up scoring on it.
Also the stand by the defense on 3rd and 1 by the Argos when they gambled and failed. Michael Jenkins with a penalty marker down far side of the field. Nice run for Jenkins. Raphael Ball made the tackle.
Well, you know what? There's a mistake up front by Steve Anderson on the play. Steve Anderson doesn't have contain. He doesn't have to go in as far as he does. They're going over and talking about what the penalty is.
Offside. BC number 91. Penalties declined. First down.
Herman Smith was in, but it's about taking care of your responsibility. And Steve Anderson got sucked way down in that play. And that allowed Jenkins to the outside. Little false step can go a long way.
So the Argo drive moves out across the 50 to the 51. This is Jenkins again. And where has he been for the last couple of games?
Well, they've sort of been giving the ball to Michael Jenkins for a while. Then they switch in Ryan Terry a little bit. And so, you know, running backs like to see it the whole game. 10 carries for Jenkins so far. He's putting together a real good game.
5 carries last week for 15 yards. So that's why you wonder where he's been.
Exactly.
In this Argonaut scheme of things. Andre Kerwin to the near side. It's 2nd and 5 Toronto. Right near midfield. Kemp hands it off quickly. It's Jenkins again. Why not? This is working, and that'll be a first down. Benefield made the stop, number 56 for BC.
Well, Benefield's asked me today, he says, what's the impression around the league about my linebacking play? And he's heard some negative comments that he wasn't too happy about. He's, of course, out of position. We've talked about that. He used to come off the edge as a rush end. Now he's playing middle linebacker. Feels like he's playing well. He grades out well every game. It's a little bit different. He's still got to think about things a little bit, not just react, but he's coming along.
Argonauts first down. Nice fake. There's English making the catch, and another Argonaut first down. So Jimmy Kemp is mixing it up well with a solid fake there. Ball over to make the tackle, but the gain is 13 yards.
This is what the fake does for it, John. If Jenkins is running well, then this guy right here, Benefield, has to respect it. See, he comes down as soon as he sees the fake to Jenkins. Watch this. There's the fake. Look at Benefield goes down and tackle. Whoop, he doesn't have the ball anymore. So if you can establish that running game, like we say many times, that's what opens up the passing game for you.
Andrew English just back into the lineup for his 4th game this season. Here's Kemp swinging it to Jenkins out of the backfield, breaks another tackle. He got by Benefield. And Keith Franklin made the stop.
Well, all of a sudden, a nice little drive by Jimmy Kemp and the Toronto Argonauts, and a timely drive. 14-1. The Lions had all the momentum in this game to this point with the big plays and a couple of bad penalties to keep drives alive, and now Kemp is kind of switching that momentum over a little bit.
The Argonauts did have some early momentum with a substantial drive that set up a field goal try, and then they missed that. And that took a little wind out of their sails, but Kemp is good on 5 of 7 so far, and it's called a good game. He's called Jenkins number 27 a lot of the evening, and
well,
it's
he
worked
has.
well.
Yeah, you can run the ball on 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, and you can pick up first downs. It really keeps the defense off balance. You know, anytime you're in 2nd and 5 or more, you're basically looking at a passing down in the CFL. If you can run the ball successfully, and Jimmy Kemp will look up his next running play likely on that card on his wrist, it really keeps you off balance.
Actually, the Argos have run the ball as effectively as they've done anything on offense, and they're on pace to be over their average tonight, but Kemp looks to put this one up, changed his mind, and dove for a couple of yards on first down. Kelly Lockbaum gets his first start of a new season and makes a tackle on Kemp there. Argos have a nice drive going. The BC Lions have a 13-point lead. It's CFL Live from Vancouver. Hanging in at BC Place, and at the half, the boys will be ready. Maybe Matt Dunnigan can explain how he made Damon Allen such a terrific quarterback when he tutored him in the Edmonton days.
In '87, remember the Grey Cup right here in BC Place? Matt Dunnigan actually got knocked out of that game. I believe it was a concussion. And Damon Allen
Stole the car, didn't he?
He stole the car, won the MVP. Taught him everything he knows.
Jimmy Kemp looks for room. Benefield tracks him down, and Kemp had to unload and fire it nowhere.
Well, it's the difference, John, between about a 30-yard field goal attempt or a 35-yard field goal attempt for Jimmy Kemp to throw it away, and that's all it was. Benefield tracked him down, had nowhere to go, no receiver to throw to, and just make it a little bit easier kick for your field goal kicker.
Jimmy Kemp has moved this Argonaut team. He hasn't hit pay dirt. He hasn't been able to make things work when he got inside the 30-yard line and get to the end zone. But the team has moved the ball effectively at times.
Michael Jenkins a big part of that with his running ability.
Jacob Marini missed earlier. Not this time. So the Argos get 3. It's better than nothing, folks. 14-4 at BC Place. Not a bad evening for either team. We'll be there for the rematch next week when the BC Lions entertain the Argos. Next home game is Thursday, August 24th for the Argos. Tickets are available. As you likely know, there's the number to call.
CFL, all our balls are bigger.
Well, that was the
that's the
kicking balls down there.
Yeah.
Here's Damon Allen, and there's Sean Millington with a head of steam. Tough guy to bring down, and well tackled at the 50. Brad Elberg got in the way, and Elberg is slow to get up.
John, the biggest difference in the BC Lion offense in this game tonight is that early on they went over top. Early on they aired out the football. All of a sudden now, Sean Millington and some of these receivers are seeing a lot of room underneath. It's a big difference. If all you're running is hitch passes, that defense just tightens down the screws. It just gets closer and closer and closer till it's right in your hip pocket all game long. If you get them off you, push the ball down the field, go deep on them, stretch them out, the underneath stuff opens up for you.
Brad Elberg is the injured player. He got hammered by Sean Millington making the tackle. Elberg just nicely got back into the lineup. Started last week, was a backup the week before. He's been around the CFL for a few years. He's a favorite of J.I. Albrecht's, but in 6 years, he has played only 56 games.
Sometimes you're the windshield,
and sometimes you're the bug.
And when big Sean Millington gets ahead of steam, there's going to be a lot of bugs on the field that are just getting splattered.
Yeah, basically right now it's Brad Elbug.
Brad Elbug is trying to recoup from that hit.
Out of Queens, had a tryout in the National Football League, was the Saskatchewan Roughriders' #1 draft pick, and never stuck in Saskatchewan.
No, when he got to Saskatchewan, he had a bit of an edge to him attitude-wise, I believe, and that was the talk and one of the reasons they got rid of him coming out of that NFL tryout. And he's been bounced around in positions, and it's been a problem for him in his career. I mean, he comes in as a tailback in Saskatchewan, moved to defensive back in Winnipeg. It's tough to just learn a new spot. It's not like moving from left guard to right guard, which is hard enough. That's a whole different side of the ball. He got really twisted around on the hit from Millington, and
he's a warrior.
The way he's walking and maybe hip.
And it's pretty tough on a guy who's had so many injuries that have kept him out of the lineup. 82nd PGA Championship, second-round coverage tomorrow. You know who the leader is, I'm sure, by now. Tiger Woods in a tie for the top with Scott Dunlap at 6 under. Pretty exciting to see Steve Ames, a Calgary resident, at -3. And lots more golf action ahead for the next 3 days on TSN at the PGA Championship.
Man, I was watching that. Those are some tough greens. I'd be looking at a few snowmen in that one.
Little shovel pass ahead for Robert Drummond. I'm not so sure that Damon Allen wasn't over the line of scrimmage when he let that go.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, that's exactly what the call is. And the Argos saw it immediately. Walter Highsmith, the defensive line coach, was halfway on the field. He's standing just beside John Heward, and he was halfway on the field saying, hey, he was over the line.
Yeah, the interesting thing is the flag came down all the way across the field from 65 yards away.
Illegal forward pass. BC #9. First down repeated.
And he ran out in the field. There's Highsmith. He just ran out and he said, whoa, it was over the line. That's not fair.
Shovel pass does not have to be pretty, but it has to be from behind the line of scrimmage.
The line of scrimmage was the 49-yard line. The 49-yard line was the line of scrimmage, and Damon Allen was very close to it. The 49 is right up there, and yeah, he was over the 50, so a yard and a half over the line.
1st and 20. Allen pump fake once, and then lost the ball while he was in the throwing motion.
You know what happened? He is frustrated with the receiving court. Jimmy the Jet Cunningham either ran the wrong pattern or he broke his pattern off, because when Damon Allen went to throw it, Cunningham wasn't in the place he wanted him to be. It's timing. Now Damon Allen wants to get rid of the ball. That's just a pump fake, but he wants to get rid of the ball now, and he goes, wait a minute, Jimmy Cunningham is not in the right place. And he has to try and hold on to that ball. Looked like he broke off his pattern, because immediately he ran over there to Cunningham and said, hey, where were you going?
Second and a whole bunch, 2nd and 20. Again, the pump fake, looking deep, and almost intercepted near the 40-yard line by Martavius Houston, intended for Robert Drummond.
You know, great reaction at the end of the play by Martavius Houston. He has had to chase Cunningham across the field. This time he's matched up on Robert Drummond, but it's the end of the play that's most important, because Houston does a good thing about turning back and looking back to the football. See, he's bumping him a little bit with his shoulder, but that's okay as long as you're looking back to the football. Just like I was bumping you.
Yeah, you're leaning
here
right
in the
over
booth.
here.
Sorry.
I'm almost off my stool.
I get a little excited up here sometime. I try to hit you there.
Pinball is back near the 32. Andre Williams, 84, returning for the Argos, and he's decked at about the 47, 7 yards on the return. And Roger Reinson led the tacklers, and Jimmy Kemp gets another crack at it now.
Well, golden opportunity for Kemp. Minute 48 left. You got a chance to really close the gap on the BC Lions if you can put a drive together. That's plenty of time.
Coming up at the half, the guys are all ready. Tillman, Dunnigan, Schultz, and Duthie. Tillman's making news again this week. I read headlines in the paper.
The Ottawa situation.
About the Ottawa deal. Duthie hasn't made any headlines, so.
Well, he's got a job. His job is tough enough to keep those guys in line. I mean, he doesn't have time to go look at other jobs, get his resume together.
Stefan Potasic flanked to the near side for the Argos, beginning just inside the 30. Kemp found no one home and had to unload that.
Threw it down for Jackson. It was a receiver, just not his receiver.
You know, I could have sworn I heard a whistle somewhere down there, and it wasn't from the field of play, but there seemed to be a little hesitation.
Well, if it came from the crowd, the home team could be penalized.
Yeah. But obviously no one else noticed it, or I'm hearing things.
Well, this is important, John, for Jimmy Kemp. Jimmy Kemp has a minute and 40 left to go in the half. If he can't get a first down here, Damon Allen will get the ball with time to score again. This is a very big down.
And he rifled this one in. It's picked off. Derek Lewis. And Lewis will set the Lions up with another chance to score. 1:34 to go till halftime at the 30-yard line. Kemp was a little high on the toss.
Looking for Daryl Mitchell over the middle, and you're right. He just overthrew Mitchell because Mitchell was open over the middle. Right in this part of the zone, that's where he's going to look to throw the football. Here comes Mitchell. See him open? Overthrows it. Mitchell can't come down. It was a little bit behind him, too. And if it's overthrown and tipped, it's usually intercepted. We saw a couple by Greg Freres just like this last night in Calgary. Watch this. Can't get to it, comes back, and the worst case scenario happens for the Toronto Argonauts.
Now, Kemp had a not bad start, but he's been good on only one of his last 5, and then the interception there. Lions will certainly score from here at the 30-yard line. Unless the Argos get the turnover. Damon avoiding a big rush, and he's got about 5 yards on a play that he couldn't spot a receiver on.
You know, but what I want to know is, how does he know Vernon Mitchell is there? This is just
a little reverse spin.
Well, it's veteran savvy is what it is. Vernon Mitchell comes on the blitz. Watch this. He comes off the edge like this. How does Damon Allen see him? Look at this. Here he comes. Damon Allen turned the other way, back to Vernon Mitchell. Yep. Oh, gotcha. To the outside. I mean, how does he know he's there?
Well, Vernon Mitchell has now seen that move and will put it
he better get
in the
upfield
memory
more.
bank.
Better get upfield a little bit more on Damon Allen.
Only 2 for Damon Allen. 2nd and 8 here. Allen looking for the whole bunch. He tries the same move again and got away with it. Then Allen got decked as he fired this one down near the 5-yard line. Allen was hammered.
I'm not sure if Damon Allen didn't see Robert Drummond or he wanted to go deeper for the touchdown and decided not to go to him.
Johnny Scott coming through to hammer Damon Allen. So when I said the Lions would certainly get points from this, well, they'll have to settle for a try at 3.
Just to the left of your, well, just down the field to the left, Robert Drummond is wide open in the seam, and Damon Allen didn't see him. He gets a little bit of time and then just decides to throw it away, and when he does, there's the big hit you talked about, John, from Johnny Scott. That one was fair.
Lou Pasaglia takes them from 35 and in, and he's got a perfect season going in his 25th year.
He's perfect. Has not missed. His longest 37, but he has not missed. Wasn't asked early in the year to kick the long ones. John Baker at the time was, but at the same time, hey, he's perfect.
12 of 12 for Louis Pasaglia, and the BC Lions have a 17-4 lead. That's really, truly amazing that a guy is still around and kicking 25 years after his first game.
He's perfect kicking field goals and perfect in the passing department.
That's true.
1 for 1 tonight on that fake punt.
And that set up, or at least,
well, not the fake punt, the fire situation.
Yeah, the little blocking problem up front. But Pasaglia read it well, got the pass away that kept the drive going, and that set up the first touchdown for the Lions. So Louis has had something to do with it tonight. Minute 15 to go till halftime. Kemp threw an interception the last time he had his hands on the ball. Patasic jumped. He might not have had to. And it was a little behind.
Well, yeah, this has been a problem for Kemp in this game. He's throwing the ball a little high, and he's also throwing a little bit behind the receiver. And it's easier to say it from up here than it is to do it from down there. I guarantee you that. But got to lead the receiver out in front of him a little bit more, and Kemp's numbers have slipped because of it.
Completed only 1 of his last 6 now.
And again, there's still time for, if he doesn't get the first down, Damon Allen to get the ball back and still get more points. So again, another key down on 2nd and 10 for the Argonauts.
Looking at 2nd and long, and Kemp really needs a completion here. This isn't going to do it unless he can get the first down, and I didn't think he could. He was wrapped up by a lock bomb from behind.
Wow, Kelly Lockbaum getting a chance to start in the lineup with Eric England out, and Lockbaum makes the best of it. He's been consistent so far throughout this game. Northern Arizona is where he went to school. He's Canadian. Watch Kelly Lockbaum just fly over there and get Jimmy Kemp after he takes his drop. Little drop, make sure he's got his pass coverage. Kemp's going to take off and run. Let's go track him down, make a good tackle in the open field, and make him punt. You know, Kelly Lockbaum at the beginning of the year when he came into training camp, they thought he may be the starter in that lineup. They went with Eric England, a little bit bigger guy. But Kelly Lockbaum keeps playing like he is. He may have earned himself a starting role.
Well, he's playing with enthusiasm, and I think he's got more speed in that area. Jimmy Cunningham for the Lions back at the 32. Noel Prefontaine averaging 49 yards per punt. Number 1 in the CFL.
Uh-oh.
It's blocked. Lions have a chance to score again. Prefontaine hammers it out of the end zone. Smartly done.
Oh,
Because it could have been 6.
no Pele Prefontaine. Benefield got through, but it was like a fast break, and that is, I've lost count. How many punts have the Argos had blocked?
Well, they had 2 blocked last week, and 1 went for a touchdown.
Well, this is the 3rd one in 2 weeks, and trouble again on special teams for John Heward, because I don't think they blocked anybody. I mean, just look at this. I mean, it was a fast break. It's like bang, 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 bang. They're all coming. Watch this. No one gets blocked up there. Away we go, and look at this. Hold it. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 5 guys in there, and then well, look at this play though. Look at Pele. Best again, still best. It's in the back of the net.
That's good.
He kicks that one out of the
Little World Cup play-by-play.
Well, here's the problem. The ball is not round. That's not easy to time up. I guarantee you throw the ball around on the ground, you take 10 tries at it, 9 of them you whiff on the thing because it bounces so wonky. But Noel Prefontaine saves a touchdown.
Well, the special teams meeting is being chairmaned by the head coach, John Heward, down there. Pressure on Allen. No one home. He was looking for Don Blair.
Well, Damon Allen couldn't step up in the pocket. He had tons of pressure, like you mentioned, John, and Blair was open over the middle. He just couldn't get in there. Calvin Tiggle was in there in the rush, and he couldn't step and plant. So he had no, it was all arm, and it was too far a throw to get it there.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. The Lions have 51 seconds.
And you know what? I think you're still aggressive. You know, and you still go after. With 50 seconds, you got tons of time.
Well, you might as well throw.
Hey, kick another field goal. Here they come.
First down territory, and he may not get a chance to get this one away. He won't. Wrapped up. Damon Allen. Calvin Tiggle was there to prevent any further damage.
Well, one of the receivers for the Lions has got to check this off. If you see the amount of players on the line of scrimmage, you got to give your quarterback a target.
2-yard loss.
And that's exactly what Joe Palpa is going to talk to the receiving corps about. He's going to say, guys, look, when you see the Argo defense on the line of scrimmage, we're talking about almost all of them, someone just flash in front, go over the middle quickly, give Damon Allen a chance.
Lions have the lead at 19-4. Timeout Toronto here with 46 to go.
Again, still time to put points on the board. John Heward's got to be thinking that when he sends in his offense. You know, you got Pinball Clemens back there. He can get some yards on a punt return, and then you get in decent field position. You're at least 2 first downs away from a field goal try. Assistant coach Pinball Clemens.
Yeah, he's ready to return.
Talked to him about that. They haven't really decided exactly how that role will go, but he said it has nothing to do with personnel and won't. Just has to do with game planning.
And Williams didn't have a chance to return that. Flag is down, though, back at the original line of scrimmage. We've seen a few of those over the last couple of nights.
Yeah, there's been a couple of flags. Again, the Argos have been the worst of the two teams as far as the penalties go.
Toronto number 26. First down.
A couple of late hits that have kept drives alive against John Heward. And then he gets a holding one. And
Morgan Welsh is number 26. First-year Argo. Suter and Schultz can't be around on Sunday.
Yeah,
but you'll be there Monday with Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott, one of my favorite players in the National Football League history. He just inducted into the Hall of Fame. We'll have him.
Charlie Taff.
Yeah, and he was excellent in the interview we did with Charlie Taff, and we'll have him for you as well.
39 seconds to go. English makes the catch, and he's stopped short of a first down by Kelly Lockbaum. Still lots of time for the Argos to get in range and grab 3 before this is over, and at least erase part of what happened the last time they tried to kick the ball.
Well, the good news for Kemp is he got it out in front of Andrew English and gave him a chance.
Whoa. And that'll be a first down.
Kelly Lockbaum again.
At the 50, and Lockbaum was there to greet the receiver. Andre Kerwin.
Yeah, nice break on the ball and hit from Kelly Lockbaum. Kemp will go into the hurry-up offense, and Lockbaum, he got his equipment together and doesn't have the call yet. Or excuse me, Andre Kerwin. You saw Kerwin look back at Kemp, turn around kind of dazed after the hit from Kelly Lockbaum, and said, wait a minute, I don't have the call. It was blown down anyway, so he may have dodged a bullet. He may not have known the pattern he was going off.
And he's got it now. Number 81, Andre Kerwin. 16 receptions, 175 yards so far in 2000. 5 for 32 last week. He's a Winnipeg native.
Well, I'm not sure if it's the refs or if it's the players or what it is, but the tempo of this game just slowed down to a crawl. I mean, we got 19 seconds before we go into halftime. The panel is just chomping at the bit there, ready to go.
Well, they don't want to lose any time.
And the refs have slowed this one right down.
Apparently there was a problem with the clock, and they've just added a couple of ticks to it. It was at 19 seconds, and they've added 2. From the shotgun, Jimmy Kemp. And there's nowhere to throw until that toss right there for Andrew English. And English gets out of bounds with 9 seconds on the clock. English made a good play to help out the quarterback.
Oh, Kemp, too. I mean, Kemp was in trouble. How did Kemp get away from this? He just made something happen on his own.
9 seconds till halftime.
Well, they got time for one more play if they make it quick, but if you're the BC Lions right now, you want to tackle the receiver, keep him up, and keep the clock ticking, because they're in range for a long field goal attempt, but they'd like to get about 5-10 more yards.
And that's
hold him up.
Michael Jenkins. That wasted 4 seconds. David Benefield had him wrapped up, so they got to go for the kick now, don't they? 4 seconds.
Yeah,
5 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, you go for the kick now, and second down.
Whoa.
It's a long kick, but
Yeah.
you know, this is where you go for it.
They made that decision. Jacob Marini's longest, 47 yards.
Well, I'm surprised they ran the ball, John. And that's my only question.
Yeah, you throw the out and get out of bounds.
Exactly, but you need 10 yards to make it a good, decent field goal attempt, you know, for Jacob Marini. So now it's still a long attempt. They lost a few seconds there by running the ball. So I'm not sure about the call. This is going to be a long one, and we've seen a few run back in the Canadian Football League this year.
Marini missed his first tonight, nailed his second. This would be his longest of the season and the longest in the CFL from 52.
No way.
No way. Jimmy Cunningham.
Here he
Wide
goes.
field goals are tough to defend, and here comes the Jet. Still going, Jimmy Cunningham. Prefontaine, the last who can tackle him, and they got to get him down. They do at the 20-yard line. What a great return by Jimmy Cunningham, and Noel Prefontaine, who is one of the leaders on special teams tackling out there, really made the play to keep the Jet from going all the way. As it was, he went 85.
We've seen it a couple of times, and that was very close.
No time left on the clock, and the Argos dodge a bullet at the very last second of the opening half.
The CFL live on TSN at the half.
Boy, that might have all but wrapped it up right there. Duthie, Tillman, Dunnigan, and Schultz back with you. And 19 points in the CFL at the half isn't that much, but when you're averaging only about a touchdown and a half a game, that's an offensive explosion for the BC Lions.
It really is. And down there on the goal line, when there was a tough call for Greg Mons, what does he have to do? He goes back to back with Joe Pow, says, hey, let's show our players we have belief in them. Let's circle the wagons and let's punch this thing. I think it was a good move. It worked out for them. It shows that these guys are fending off the bullets together.
As for the Argos, you know, last week it seemed like they had something to build on, that overtime tie against Winnipeg. They haven't built on anything. They've fallen apart.
You know, one of the hardest things to do in CFL football is sustain drives, because you really don't have an experimental down. And when you look at the Toronto Argonauts, they've had an unnecessary roughness call on a defensive lineman, unnecessary roughness call on a linebacker. They've had an interference call on a defensive back way far away from the play. If they didn't have those penalties, really those drives that BC had, they would have been stopped at that point. And then you think about this block kick again. I've been on football teams that have had kicks blocked. The next week, the urgency level is huge not to let that happen again. It's easy to diagnose. They're self-destructing.
Yeah, they are self-destructing, but I want to talk about something positive with the Toronto Argonauts. Number 10, Antonius Bonner, a guy that absolutely never receives any publicity. You know, if you watch him on these plays, he's one of the most underrated guys around. He can run, he can cover, and God knows the guy can deliver a blow, as we see here. The media never gives him his due because he's a quiet guy, but the reality is he's an all-star. If you ask the players, if you ask the coaches, the people that really know, they'll tell you Antonius Bonner is a football player.
I'll tell you what, had a chance to talk to Ronnie Lott, who's in Toronto this week, and thought I saw him out there in the red and in the blue and white in the first half.
He'd be proud of Bonner.
He would be proud of Bonner. We'll hear from Ronnie Lott in a couple of minutes, a clip from that interview. As for the first half, well, it was pretty much all BC Lions, and Damon Allen, he breaks the record, and he does more than that. Touchdown pass to Alfred Jackson, and a big lead on the Argos at the break. Put this in your computer bookmarks, tsn.ca/CFL. It's all the great stuff you see here without the annoying host. Complete stats plus more from our analysts. You know, they always complain they don't have enough time to talk here, so we let them write the written word. This weekend, Chris Schultz talks about coaching. That's at www.tsn.ca/CFL. Those are your first half statistics. The key one down there near the bottom, 2 turnovers leading to BC points, and the Argos really killing themselves with mistakes, but an impressive half by the Lions as well. Our Farhan Lalji had a chance to speak with Greg Mons.
Well, Coach, the team looked a whole lot better in the first half of this game.
Well, we're doing some things that are positive. We can hang our hat on, but we still got 30 minutes to play and still got a few mistakes to correct.
Last game, this team took a lot of penalties. You've shown a lot of discipline in the first half so far.
Yeah, so far we have, but we got 30 minutes to play. Well, like I said, we've got some positives, but we still got 30 minutes to play hard football.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
For the Argos, I think the MVP of the first half has to be Prefontaine. First, he kicks that ball to the end zone, preventing a touchdown. Then he chases down Jimmy the Jet. It's not a good thing when your kicker has to make plays like that.
No, it's not. You know, James, I've been associated with this league for now almost 10 years, and I don't think I've ever seen worse special teams than we've seen in the last weeks from the Toronto Argonauts. You know, when John Heward got the job, he talked about his background in special teams, working with Marv Levy. Then he hired Daryl Pasquale. They struggled early in the year. John Heward took the responsibilities away from Pasquale for all effects, basically embarrassed him, said he was taking over the special teams. Well, John, the special teams absolutely stink. You can't block, you can't cover, and it's just giving your chance no team to be successful. You have to feel for Noel Prefontaine. If Toronto's going to have any chance to be successful, they're going to have to get this area straightened out, Matty.
Ooh, you on fire.
How do you really feel?
The truth is the truth.
Hey,
Don't hold it back.
Hey, that was good. I also think Toronto needs to go vertical. I think they need to stretch the field. They need to get Kerwin deep. They need to get Mitchell deep. I think Jimmy Kemp has established a run with Jenkins. Now I like to see him go over the top, get this offense opened up, spread that defensive out.
And BC Lions, they need a pressure relief, because what happens is when you've been around a team that's losing, all this controversy, your daily life changes. You go grocery shopping late at night, you don't go to the same convenience store, everything changes. This team needs it so they have something positive to talk about next week. Might just get it, James.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Your late night habits.
He's talking about groceries. Offensive linemen talk about groceries. Talk about shopping for groceries.
Sometimes we need to hide around here.
Fill 4 or 5 carts up. All right, second half is coming up. Argos have to fix up the problems Eric Tillman talked about. Boy, you had to get something off your chest, didn't you? Noel Prefontaine, he's going to have to just kick those. Forget catching them. Just kick them right out of the air. Oh, second half's coming up.
BC's Greg Mons has to be feeling a little bit better about his team. Let's go down to the sidelines and check in with Farhan Lalji.
All right. Well, Coach, can you fill us in on what you said to your team at halftime?
Just come out and play football. I mean, we've done the same thing for the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We come out, we start well, we play well, and then we start getting into the penalty.
Can you talk about the play of Jimmy Kemp in that first half?
Oh, I don't know much to say about it. I mean, we haven't done much. We moved the ball back and forth, but we haven't scored.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Looks like Kemp will be at the controls for the second half regardless.
He has to be, John. I mean, there's no question. Even if Jimmy Kemp was a little off in that second quarter, throwing a bit behind receivers and a bit high, he's the only guy that gives him a chance. I really don't think that John Heward has an option there. You know, he goes to his backup, Greg Hill, no experience. O.T. Sampson, very little experience. He's got to go with Jimmy Kemp, and he's got to go the whole way with him.
Well, as the coach was saying, I thought that Kemp moved the ball effectively on the opening drive, and they came up short, tried to kick the field goal, settled for a single, but in reality, there were some yards put up there by the Argonauts a couple of times, but you have to score. That's the name of the game. Did the Lions show you a whole bunch different?
I think a little bit more emotion than last week, number one. And number two, they went deep with the football offensively. And I think that was the biggest difference.
Greg Mons feeling the heat in Vancouver in the last little while, because the Lions, with a super record in 1999 and a Western final berth on home turf, started with 2 wins and the lost 4 in a row. They're trying to turn it around here tonight, and the second half is underway. Andre Williams for the Argonauts. Great return would really help out Toronto's fortunes here, and it's not bad. Bo Lewis banged him out of bounds near the 42. So decent field position for Jimmy Kemp and the Argonaut offense.
Well, I agree with Eric Tillman at halftime about the special teams for the Argos. They definitely have to fix that part of the game, and I'm sure they talked about that at halftime. And like you mentioned, they probably told Jimmy Kemp, hey, you're moving the ball fairly well in the middle of the field. Just got to continue to finish drives and try and finish some drives to get some points.
And then there was special team coverage on the wide field goal that could have been a little more costly, but Jimmy Cunningham had to make it all the way because it was the last play of the opening half. Kemp had success running early, needs to throw it deep, and there's Mitchell. Nice catch. Daryl Mitchell broke one tackle. Chance to score. Daryl Mitchell. Yes, touchdown, Toronto. 68 yards. Kemp paid for it. He got hammered. And what a great way to start the second half for the Argonauts.
Raphael Robinson tried to disguise the coverage. He tried to fool Jimmy Kemp, and he got caught. Look at him right here. Jimmy the Kemp drops back. He's going to go right down the middle. Look at Robinson gets caught up too tight. See him trying to disguise, and then he goes, uh-oh. Whoa, baby, I got to turn and run. I got to get on my horse now because that ball's going over my head, and you're right. Jimmy took a big hit. Mitchell adjusts to the football when Robinson was scrambling to get back.
Actually, he beat 3 BC Lions to make the catch and the run after it.
Jimmy the Kemp is like a superhero. Superhero if he can come back in this football game, and that's a good start. Raphael Robinson snuck up. Daryl Mitchell adjusted to the ball when it was in the air, but Robinson really had no chance because he was scrambling to get back into position.
That's what they need from Daryl Mitchell, though, because somehow or other the Argos drive stalled. When they get an opportunity, they needed the big play by Mitchell after he made the catch to take it all the way.
Well, that's when you say, when you talk about your best players coming up big for you, that's a play. Look at Daryl Mitchell. He adjusts to the ball first of all and comes up with a catch. Then he makes a couple of guys miss and outruns Eric Carter. That's making the plays. That's your big time players, your game breakers, not only catching the football like Daryl Mitchell does, but once he has it, making it into something bigger, and that's a touchdown. Huge play for Mitchell and the Argos to get back in this early.
Well, this is more of the Daryl Mitchell we saw in 97 and 98. 97, he had 2,000 yards receiving. 98, 10 touchdowns, 1,457 yards. So Mitchell has his longest catch of the night and a touchdown for the Argonauts. Something to build on as the Argos climb within 8 points of the BC Lions. Jimmy Cunningham almost took it all the way the last time he had his hands on the ball. Here's a good return, and the Lions have great field position out near the 43.
John, Jimmy Cunningham with that missed field goal, he didn't score. Went 85 yards to end the half, right? That may be the one that gives him some confidence. And he has been struggling this year, no question about it. Jimmy Cunningham, his 4.5-yard punt return average, the worst in the top 15 returners. His 16.5 kickoff return average, worst in the top 20 kickoff returners in the CFL. He has struggled, but that one long run may have given him the confidence.
And Cunningham appears to be winded or shaken up. So he's on the sidelines for the first BC offensive drive. Nice play action fake, Damon Allen. And that was a little miscue between quarterback and receiver. Alfred Jackson was going to the center of the field. Damon Allen was looking to the out.
Early in the game, I mentioned that Allen wanted to watch game film together with the receivers and the running backs. And the reason is because of plays like that. And that's what he was talking about. Too many plays are the receivers thinking of something different than I am thinking about. And that's exactly what Alfred Jackson did. He ran the post into the middle. Damon Allen threw it to the outside, to the sideline, on what's called a corner pattern. Just miscommunication, not being on the same page.
2nd and 10. Allen shotgun. Jackson the catch, and enough for the first down by about a half a yard.
Argos went with the safety blitz, and this time Alfred Jackson adjusts properly. I believe he had a long, deep pattern called in the huddle, but when he saw the blitz, he broke it off. He had a deep one, but he saw the blitz and just turned it out right there. The blitz is coming. Brad Elberg, number 3 from the safety position. Now see, he sees it. He goes, okay, I'm going to turn it out here. go down, pick one off the turf, and come up with a big catch.
Lions right on midfield at the 55. Sean Millington at his steam, tough to bring down. He runs over guys. Houston got him from behind, 23 yards for Sean Millington.
You know, and now this defense for the Argos look like it's struggling a little bit. Damon Allen, this could be worst score in the first half. Had a couple guys deep, had a couple guys running the football well. This is a defense that has not played near as well as they played a year ago in Toronto. And, you know, John Heward basically pulled apart that defense at the beginning of the year when he took over, and they're not playing as well as they did last year.
Robert Drummond for a little bit. Millington has 5 carries, 55 yards so far tonight. A couple of long runs.
I mean, and it's when you look at the defense, it's drastic changes. Now, they made a lot of changes, but look at this. That's what they did at this time last year. Difference of 55 yards running, 79 yards passing the football. That's over 130 yards difference and 13 points. They're down 7 takeaways. That defense in 99 led in a bunch of categories. This year, they have struggled.
Damon Allen, deep drop. Has Graham lost the ball on his way out of bounds. 24 yards for Sean Graham, playing his 3rd game tonight.
Well, Damon Allen bought some more time by jumping back about 10 yards to allow Graham to open up. He's going to flash across the screen against Antonius Bonner, but watch Damon Allen. Takes the football. Now he's going to drop back another 10 yards after this. He just bounces way back. That's a real deep drop, deeper than normal. That gives a chance for Graham to get all the way across the field and Antonius Bonner.
Offensive line doing a superb job. Nice fake by Allen. There's the touchdown toss, and Alfred Jackson has it. Number 2 for AJ. Shorter one this time. 6 points just the same.
And some celebration going on for the BC Lions. Emotion. Hey, make a couple of big plays. Get excited about it. That's what the game is all about. Couple for Alfred Jackson, who, like we mentioned earlier, has not scored. Didn't score all of last season.
And has 2 tonight. First 2 of the year. 4 catches, 51 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Jackson caught 3 for 21 yards last week.
Again, they're working on that Argo defense. Struggling. You know, so Damon Allen responds right away to the Kemp touchdown.
Yeah, he gets 2 for that. Oh, just off the rim.
Souvenir for the crowd. Not bad.
Alfred Jackson having his best night of the year for the BC Lions. He's got a couple.
Well, look at Fred Perry. Look at the quandary he's in right there. If I come up too fast on Damon Allen, he runs around me for the touchdown. Alfred Jackson finishes it off. Nice pattern. Inside move, get Adrian Smith thinking in, and then bang it back to the outside. Into the end zone, and then...
Yeah, he just misses the extra 2. The slam dunk is off the rim.
Missed the layup, but got the touchdown.
Andre Williams has the Argos beginning near the 36. Roger Rhinson leading the tacklers for BC. And right after the Argos come back and get close again with their touchdown from Mookie Mitchell, the Lions come roaring back again and add 1 quickly.
We're early in the second half, John, but I get a sense that that offensive line for Toronto is starting to tire a little bit up there. And maybe it's just that the defensive line for the BC Lions is starting to figure out the blocking schemes a little bit better, because in the last couple times, even the long one that Kemp scored on, he got hammered pretty good.
That's the kick returner, Andre Williams. Slightly shaken up, but apparently okay. Looks like he'll be back as he chirps a little bit down there on the sidelines.
Well, you got to tell the guy that hit you it didn't hurt.
Didn't hurt a bit.
No, not at all.
No.
I just was getting my wind, making sure my equipment was okay, and I'll be back.
Now it's up to the Argos to answer, and that means it's up to Jimmy Kemp on first down. Little swing pass. This is Mitchell. Tried to get something going, but ran into about 4 Lions, and every time he made a move, There was another one there. Marvin Thomas putting the final tackle on him.
That's what I'm talking about with emotion with the Lions. Against the Calgary Stampeders, the BC Lions defense, we're relying on 1 or 2 guys to make tackles. Now, like you saw in that last play with Daryl Mitchell out there, there are about 8, 9 Lions. They're pursuing to the football. You know, and the good teams do that. Everybody has to always be pursuing to the football.
2nd and 8. Another tough situation for Jimmy Kemp. Here's the charge. Kemp steps up, delivers. English makes the catch. Huge first down for the Argos. Franklin made the tackle on Andrew English.
Quarterback needs throwing lanes, and watch the throwing lane that Jimmy Kemp is going to have to throw it to Andrew English. See Kelly Lockbaum, 33 now. Watch right here. He'll step up in the pocket. Lockbaum is too shallow. Look at that throwing lane. Lockbaum is not going to be a factor. He's too short, too shallow in there. Now look at this. Bam, throwing lane, across his body, first down.
Jenkins. Michael Jenkins had some good yardage in the early going. He only gets 3 here, and Kelly Lockbaum's name has been mentioned more than once tonight.
Playing a great game. He really is, and he's had to contend with Michael Jenkins most of the game, who's putting together a pretty good day.
Closing in on 100. What a week he had in his CFL debut. Well over 100. Pinball couldn't quite get to it. Kemp brushed the throw just a little bit.
Oh, he had to. Marvin Thomas was bearing down. So talking about that offensive line and the key down on 2nd down, they need to shore it up because some pressure coming from the Lions. Marvin Thomas. And Kemp really had to get rid of it in a hurry. It's going to come right in here. Watch Marvin Thomas get home. I mean, look at this. Marvin Thomas not blocked. Kemp's like, he's got to rush it. Pinball was open, but when you rush the passer, things like that will happen. You'll miss your guy.
Prefontaine was blocked earlier. It cost points. There was pressure on him again. He got it away. Jimmy Cunningham wrapped up by Potasic as soon as he got his hands on the ball. So the Argos force the Lions deep. It'll be 1st and 10 BC when we return. One thing the Argos did the last time they had possession of the ball, they made a couple of first downs, and now they've forced the Lions to begin at the 10-yard line. So a defensive play here for the Argos can set them up.
Well, absolutely. It's a good point because you don't always have to score on every drive. So you get a few first downs, a couple, and you punt the ball. You get some field position back. It's a fight for real estate. Football is a fight for real estate. And if you can win that fight, you usually win the game.
So the Lions begin at the 10. Millington lost the ball. Talk about defensive plays if the Argos can come up with this. Millington dove back into the pile. It was loose there momentarily.
But I'm not sure if that whistle didn't blow. I think there was a quick whistle there because it looked to me like he did fumble the ball, like you mentioned, John, but I think there was a quick whistle and they called him down.
Well, the only reason it looked like a fumble was the way that Millington dove back after the ball after losing control.
Well, that's right. And, you know, was he on the ground? I heard the whistle go, though. So the little jab step, he's up in the hole. I think it was out before he hit the ground.
And some early motion down there. A procedure call likely going against BC.
You know, John, I think it was out.
Violation. BC number 9. Still 2nd down.
I think the ball was out on the hit by Calvin Tiggle on Sean Millington. The only thing is, now watch Tiggle right there. He's going to come up and make the hit. I think the ball comes out now. See, it's out there now before he hits the ground, but I think it blew the whistle before he hit the ground. And once you blow the whistle, it's over. A little mistake by the official.
2nd and 11. Allen back to the goal line. Crum can't make the catch. The Argo defense holds. They'll get the ball back in a hurry. 7:36 to go, 3rd quarter.
Well, 26-11 lead. You're going to be punting from your own end zone. You know, not a bad time to possibly give up the safety and get that real estate back.
Okay, Coach.
Well, you know, you just, the 2 points, Pinball's going to catch the ball on the Lions' side of midfield, okay, or whoever catches this punt return. You know, get 5-10 yards, you're in field goal range. And that's a 3-point instead of 2 points for the safety.
Well, they're going to kick it, and Louis sails it out right to midfield. Andre Williams spins and is surrounded. Lockbaum was there. And so was Keith Franklin. 46-yard punt. So Louis did a pretty good job out at midfield with this. Jimmy Kemp gets his hands on the football again.
Yeah, Louis played well. He's played well in this football game.
Next edition of Sports Desk comes your way at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific time. Rod Smith, Dave Randorf are at the controls tonight. Do you think they'll talk a little golf?
Eskimos Riders preview. We'll see that. Talk a little golf. Little Tiger time.
All coming your way on the next edition of Sports Desk. Michael Jenkins on first down. Only a couple of yards for Jenkins. Noah Cantor was there and waiting.
When you think about golf and the way Tiger Woods has been playing, John, you know, you just think everyone else is playing for second all the time. But I guess, you know, it's very similar in the Canadian Football League these days because everyone's playing to catch Calgary Stampeders.
That's almost the story. Game tomorrow night in Hamilton with the Montreal Alouettes in town. Alouettes, pretty good football team. Ticats, still a good football team as the Grey Cup champions. Short of the first down. Robinson made the tackle. So not quite the first down territory they were looking for, but they have Noel Prefontaine.
And still have the field position advantage you talked about. Now, Noel Prefontaine does not want this ball to go in the end zone. He wants to try and put this ball out inside the 10-yard line. Keep that field position advantage. It's a very important kick for Noel Prefontaine. And remember, he's had a lot of pressure on him in all of his kicks tonight.
3 have been blocked in the last 2 games, including one here tonight that cost the Argonauts 2. There's another block. Here's another BC touchdown. Dave Benefield, there he goes. 29 yards, thank you very much. Argo special teams have given up 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games.
Well, there's no way to say it. Their punt team is just awful. There's no other way to say it. And you know what? You cannot have block punt. You cannot win. And special teams, John, is 90% desire.
Well, that's a routine play.
It is. It's 90% desire. You just got to want to block your guy. You got to want to cover the field, and you got to have it in your heart. And if you're not playing with desire, you're going to give up big plays on special teams. And big play for David Benefield. Maybe just buries the Argos.
He's played very well tonight, Benefield, in on a lot of tackles, and now he has the touchdown, 29 yards. Lou Pasaglia ready to nail the extra points. And 5:36 remains in the 3rd quarter. The Argos had inched their way back into the game with an early touchdown. Now they've fallen behind again. David Benefield, 29 yards, touchdown.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by AztecTrek.com. There's over $500,000 in prizes, including all new Pontiac Aztecs.
Kickoff after another BC Lion touchdown taken by Andre Williams. He'll be caught at the 31. Sean Graham leading the tacklers. David Benefield has a touchdown, and a nice one. Not only did he block the punt, he took it into the end zone.
Who wants it more? David Benefield on Michael Jenkins right back there. Michael Jenkins missed him. Benefield wanted it more. Desire on special teams. He got after it, blocks the punt, gets a nice little hop, and now it's just get to that end zone. It's just about wanting to execute. You got to beat your man on special teams.
You knew this was going to bounce up into Benefield's midst, didn't you? Just the way he chased it down. Interesting when you look at the veteran Lou Pasaglia earlier in the game. When the coverage broke down, Pasaglia escaped, tossed for the first down, and that led to a BC Lion touchdown. That kept the drive going in spite of the fact they were in punt formation.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the great part of what Louis Pasaglia can bring to your football team when you have a veteran at that position. But, you know, in fairness to Noel Prefontaine, he's got his head down, and he's got to concentrate on where he hits the football.
Well, Glenn, he's also shell-shocked. They've been coming at it for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and two weeks in a row now, he's had 2 blocks, so 4 blocks in 2 weeks. And you know, that's not the punter's fault. You know, Louis Pasaglia made something out of nothing. Noel Prefontaine has had no chance to really do that simply because he's been swamped. And that's just, it's not, it really surprises me at this level that they are that bad on the punt team.
Well, here's the deal. The BC Lions have watched the footage of what happened last week without question, but the Argos have also seen it and how disastrous it was. Why wouldn't they have fixed it between the Winnipeg game last week and tonight?
Well, in fairness to the coaching staff, though, you know, they may have fixed it. I mean, Michael Jenkins was responsible for blocking David Benefield and didn't do it.
Well, then that's a coaching problem, right? I mean, they've got a mismatch.
Well, no, but scheme-wise, they had a guy on a guy, but their guy didn't get the job done, and that was a problem. So that's execution in some ways.
Heat's on camp as he fires here. Andrew English made a couple of key catches, and John Heward has to be simmering on the sidelines without any question.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. You know, when the coaches go to the board, okay, and they start to put up the X's and O's on the board, or they say they line up the punt team. Michael Jenkins is a running back who has to block David Benefield on offense. So they think to themselves, well, listen, he's got to block him on offense occasionally. He can block him on our punt team. You draw it up that way, and if you can't do it.
Camp the out. Made the catch. Did he stay in? Kerwin is arguing his case, and the argument has been resolved. No catch.
Well, you got to think that, you know, sort of tongue-in-cheek in some ways, but John Heward may want to gamble on every 3rd down because punting is not an option for him really anymore.
Argos came out 3rd quarter, got within 8 points. Big touchdown by Daryl Mitchell, and they've handed 2 right back to the BC Lions, and now trail by 22. Here's Kemp, 2nd and long. Lions are everywhere. Kemp, no chance to make a completion to English on the sidelines. There are markers down. Back in the Lions secondary. English having a pretty nice night. 6 catches, 74 yards. John Heward having another one
Illegal
of those
contact
miserable evenings.
BC 56. First down.
Well, that'll perk him up a little bit for a moment.
Well, Benefield's still excited. He's still out there. Hey, he went over, grabbed one of the receivers, said, "You see my touchdown?" Oh, sorry, I got to let go of you. That's it's just not, you know, you got to win at least 2 out of 3 phases. Offense, defense, special teams. The Argos are losing 2 out of 3 right now.
And that's why they're down 22. But they get a first down out of the penalty. And a completion out at the 55, but it's only good for a couple of yards. Daryl Mitchell made the catch.
Well, take a look at what the Argos in the last little while. I mean, they go out to Saskatchewan week 1 and do a nice job rushing the football and win that game. And then since then, look at this. I mean, and you can take this game right here and just say special teams, or they probably win that game, that tie. But it has been a horror show since week 1.
And giving up way too many points along the way. Jimmy Kemp on 2nd and 7. Big run right here for Ryan Terry. Still going as they slide Terry into the backfield.
You know, John, the offense for the Argos has not played too badly. They haven't finished drives, but, you know, think back to the big play to Daryl Mitchell. Michael Jenkins is putting together a nice game. You know, and Ryan Terry has a nice play right here and executes it well. They're not playing too badly. I say they're holding their own in that phase. They're just losing special teams badly, and defense is not playing well either.
Jenkins was having a pretty good night until you circled him a few moments ago on the punt team.
Yeah, exactly.
25 yards to gain. Here's Kemp going for it all. Mitchell end zone. Yes, touchdown Argos. He's a big play guy. 29 yards if it stands because there's a marker down.
Well, they're saying it may go against the Lions here. Touchdown stands.
Offside. BC 99. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Jason Krall jumped offside, so the touchdown stands, and they're going for two. Another big play from their big play guy, Daryl Mitchell.
2:19 to go, third quarter. Jimmy Kemp has moved the team at times. Mitchell, 6 catches, 29 yards, 2 big ones for 2 touchdowns.
129, yeah.
Yeah, did I say more than that?
You said 29.
Oh,
you don't want to rip him off 100 yards.
No, I certainly don't.
He might run up here. Well, you go for 2, try and get as many points and get back in this game. Again, offensively, not a terrible outing for the Argos.
Down by 16, so 2 more makes it a 2-touchdown game. If Kemp can connect here, and he does, Mitchell looked to be wrapped up right on the goal line. Nice little move to get away for 2 points.
You know, Jimmy Kemp should just look for him every play, because he was covered there and just fought off the defender to get the football. And I'm not sure what John Heward is arguing about right now. They got the 2 points.
They gave him the 2 points, no question about that. He's angry about the clock.
Well, he's angry about the clock because their battle now is not just against the Lions, it's also against the clock to try and come back.
Watch the play by Mitchell here.
Raphael Robinson a little shallow again. Mitchell in the back. Yeah, that's a tough catch. That's looking over your shoulder.
And then looking back the other way, right?
Yeah, little one-on-one. You got to go back over your shoulder and kind of fade back towards the ball. Concentrate, look it right in, and then go off and fight off a defender for the 2 points. 8 points for Daryl Mitchell. He add up the other touchdown, and now he's got 14 points on the night all by himself. 14 of the 19 they have.
They're trying to get the Lion fans a little more involved here. All of a sudden, 22-point lead has diminished a little bit. 6 plays, 78 yards. Mitchell gets his 2nd touchdown of the game, and the Argos kick it away to Damon Allen and company. Chuck Levy has a head of steam and lots of yardage in front on a deep kick. Levy is brought down at about the 40. Ball squirts loose. Argos say they have it, and it looks like they might.
John, Noel Prefontaine took it out of there. He was the first guy that came up and put the hit on Chuck Levy, if you can believe that. I mean, he loves to get involved on the coverage. And I'm pretty sure it was him that ripped it out. There was a pile there, but I thought it was Prefontaine. Just watch this. He's going to come to the right. Okay, go ahead and roll and watch up here. Watch right up here. Comes Levy. See number 1? See, there's number 1 right there. See, watch this. Big hit right there from your kicker, and then he rips it out right with his right arm right there. He's pulling it out. He's fighting for the football. No, Prefontaine makes the play.
And gets the ball back for the Argos inside the BC 40. Jimmy Kemp will have a first down or close to it. Benefield came up to make the tackle, but it looked like Kemp had all kinds of real estate.
Well, talk about a change of events here. Jimmy Kemp finds Daryl Mitchell. They make a play on special teams, and in some ways you think they deserve one, the way they played. Giving up a couple blocks on the punt team, but this was the kickoff team, and the kicker made the big play.
2 weeks ago, Noel Prefontaine was the leading active special teams tackler for the Argonauts. And when your kicker is doing that for you from special teams, maybe you have to rework the special teams just a little bit.
Well, he's a great athlete. Was a defensive back at San Diego State. Knows how to tackle, and that was a good head-to-head tackle. Kept fighting for the football. Now Jimmy Kemp just has to capitalize on the big play from Noel Prefontaine.
Enough for the first down. Prefontaine has given the Argos a chance to get back in this thing. 17 of 25, 252 for Jimmy Kemp. And there was a time when he was really struggling and only completed 1 of 6. Kemp, one-on-one back there, dodges a couple, completes it, but it's out of bounds. Kerwin went up, brought it down. However, he was on the white stuff.
You know, Kemp is scrambling well this year. He's not necessarily a runner. He's run the ball 15 times coming into this game, but he averages 8.5 yards. Look at his good feet, though. Herman Smith had him. Steve Anderson had him. You know, and he gets it out of there. He threw it out of bounds, but he saved a big loss.
Great play.
8.5 yard rushing average is sort of Damon Allen, Tracy Ham kind of rushing numbers for a quarterback.
Not noted as a running quarterback. 2nd and 10 Argos. There's the catch. There's the touchdown. That's 3 on the night for Daryl Mitchell. And his place has gone a little quiet.
Oh, baby.
3 touchdowns for Daryl Mitchell. And something is going right for the Lions.
All of a sudden.
For the Argos all of a sudden.
It's a 7-point game all of a sudden, and slipping away, a game that Greg Mons had well in hand. He's just going to come across the middle. Daryl Mitchell finds the zone right in behind to the right of your screen. David Benefield comes up with the catch, and then again does something with the football once he has it.
BC Lions had a 22-point lead midway through this quarter, and it has evaporated down to 33-25 now. It's back to 8.
John, you mentioned Jimmy Kemp struggling early in the late in the first half.
Well, I thought he started well. First quarter he was okay, and then all of a sudden
and then late in the first half he started throwing the ball high and behind, and the patterns haven't changed, because look where this ball ends up in Daryl Mitchell's hands. He's going to come into the middle of your screen. Like, look, watch this. Comes across now. At the end of the first half, the ball was behind the receiver from Kemp. See, that one was out in front, so that Daryl Mitchell reaches down, but he doesn't have to stop running. He doesn't have to stop his momentum. He goes down, he catches it. He still has his momentum to get to the end zone. So Kemp has honed out the target. He's got his focus back.
27-yard touchdown for Mitchell. 161 yards and receptions on the night. And the Lions are not on the ropes down by a touchdown, but they really have to do something in response here.
No question. Now, sometimes, though, you just have to adjust your sights on the gun, right? Like the guns the sights could be out a little bit. You're shooting the gun and you're missing the target a little bit. You just adjust the sights. Now, Greg Mons needs his quarterback to do the same.
Yeah. 16 seconds to go, third quarter. Cunningham, not quite around the corner. He's out near the 43. That's where the Lions and Damon Allen begin. Allen has played well tonight. He really has to respond here. Lots of time left. Well, the whole quarter to go, but he needs some first downs and a chance to regain some field position if he can't get some points on the board.
Well, he hasn't been on the field, and he's just watched his lead disappear. Hasn't had a chance to be out there. But the last time Kemp did put that drive together, he came back and scored one of his own. See if he can do it again.
A little quiet, as I said moments ago. Feels like we're doing golf all of a sudden.
Yes, everyone's whispering.
See if the Lions can rebound. Should be final play of the third quarter. Sean Millington for about 5. Calvin Tiggle was waiting, number 73. Can't see a flag anywhere down there.
Well, they're going to try and sneak a play on the
zeros
clock
are,
says, the clock says 0.
Zeros are on the clock.
So now they're going to have to adjust that. Timekeeper's sleeping tonight. Well, now they'll call the end of the quarter.
Now they call the end
All
of the
right,
quarter.
they made up their mind.
You know what? He had to adjust the sights
of his gun.
He had no bullets. John Heward hanging in with his Toronto Argonauts. A quarter to go.
The CFL live on TSN at the quarter. Brought to you by New Arctic Ice, the invigorating new fragrance of the Gillette series. It's beyond refreshing.
Well, let's be honest. If this was Calgary in the lead in third quarter, you guys could have gone to bed about a half an hour ago. But there's a reason BC has lost 4 games in a row, and we're seeing it right now. And Toronto's kind of becoming like the cardiac kids. They came back last week against Winnipeg, and if nothing else, they sure make it interesting.
Yeah, they do. And I want to talk about a couple of guys with the Argos. Is Daryl Mitchell explosive or what? You know, Matt Dunnigan talked about the importance of throwing the ball deep. Well, you got 2 touchdowns to Mookie, and what does that do? That opens it up underneath. You saw him on the dig route, the 7 route. He gets an easy score, 3 touchdowns. Get the ball to him. The other guy, Noel Prefontaine. All the jokes about kickers, hey, he's a football player. Last year, early in the season, he led us in special teams tackle. That turnover that he created, that could be the key to the game.
Matt, you talked before the game about players taking responsibility on the Lions, and we have seen a couple step it up.
Yeah, we really have, and I'm pointing out right now David Benefield. I see him playing with more emotion, more passion. I think he's gone home, and he made a concentrated effort to say, hey, I'm going to put this team on my shoulders, play some more with some more passion, and see if I can't just take this thing and spark my teammates. And he's had a great game. He's making plays, blocking punts. He's involved, Chris.
And this is the time where your veteran quarterback, Damon Allen, has to take over, but not just him. You have 2 big running backs, and you have 5 offensive linemen that have a lot of experience in the Canadian Football League. This is the time. They're going to have 4 possessions at least in this fourth quarter. If they lose this game, that emphasis will go right to those veteran players, James.
Man, if they lose this game, that would be an absolute disaster. There is something to be said for 2 bad teams playing each other. Desperation is sometimes fun to watch, and we may have it in the fourth quarter of this one. Back to BC Place.
Well, so you want to be a football coach. These 2 guys are on the hot seat. John Heward, Greg Mons. This is the first of a back-to-back series between these 2 teams, and if one of these guys loses both, there's going to be, huge pressure. Here's Damon Allen, and Don Blair has his first catch of the night.
You know, John, I seriously do not agree with firing coaches during the season. I don't think it does anything, and I went through a couple as a player in Saskatchewan when coaches were fired midway. I think all it does is really appease the fans. It just is sort of a quick fix. And I don't agree with it, but you're absolutely right. If one of these teams loses both games in this week and next week, you got to wonder.
Now, the fun for us is we're going right down to the wire on this game.
Absolutely.
Game 1 of the series. Allen, nice fake. Drummond the catch. Squeezed away from 1 tackle and comes up short of the first down. Martavius Houston looked like he had him wrapped up.
Well, this column here had the advantage until like late in that third quarter. All of a sudden, this column takes off. You know, like, I think the net yards were in the Lions' advantage, and then a couple of Daryl Mitchell plays later, they blow right by the Lions.
Second down. Damon Allen. This one's up for grabs and right into the midst of Antonio Bonner. Antonius Bonner makes the catch, the interception, and Damon Allen floated that out there for someone. I don't know who. Oh, boy. This guy had a 22-point lead partway through the third quarter. Now he's lost a few points. He leads by a touchdown, and he's lost the football, too.
Swipe your club card at Safeway.
Antonius Bonner has given the Argonauts the football again. His 3rd interception of the season. This one looked easy.
You know, John, when your team is struggling, you ask your players to look within and make sure they come out fighting. Backs against the wall. I'll tell you one thing, Antonius Bonner came to play tonight.
Don Blair was the intended receiver there. I don't know if there was a mix-up between quarterback and receiver, but Blair was nowhere near where the football ended up, which was Antonius Bonner's hands. First down for Kemp and the Argonauts. There are penalty markers everywhere down there, and holding is a pretty good bet right now.
Yeah, that'll be holding. But, just to go back to Antonius Bonner, coaches will always, when a team is struggling, look at who keeps fighting and who comes out and who shows up ready to play. And Antonius Bonner's interception is just sort of a little payday for some play earlier in the game. I mean, this is a guy who's put on some big hits in this game. This is earlier. One
Jason
there.
Crum gets hammered.
And then it was Don Blair's turn.
Whoa! And it's lucky there's not a 30 playing for the BC
Well,
Lions, because he'd be after him. 10, 20, 30.
Antonius Bonner came to play in this game. And what you hope is that the rest of the players feed off him.
Argos looking at 2nd and 14. And this was not solid strategy. Ryan Terry wrapped up by Ramando Stallings.
San Diego State product, 6'7", 285 pounds. This is a guy who's been in training camp in the game for the first time, has rotated into the lineup, giving Herman Smith, Steve Anderson, and Marvin Thomas a bit of a blow, and comes up with a big play. It was a play to just sort of cut your losses, I think, for the Argos to run the ball.
They were looking at 2nd and 14. And
yeah, you just cut your losses and punt the ball away, and you know, maybe Noel Prefontaine makes another play for you, but this has been their worst team, the punt team.
Well, and Noel Prefontaine is standing back there, having 2 blocked already tonight.
Oh man, almost again.
Another penalty flag is down. Jimmy the Jet Cunningham spinning across the 45 to about the 47. 7 on the return. And Wayne Shaw made the tackle.
Well, they were close again, John. The Lions put another rush on them.
We'll sort out the penalties when we return to the stadium at BC Place. This one will go right down to the wire. Penalty against the Argonauts. The Lions take the option, and they will make Prefontaine kick again. Why not? They blocked 2 already.
Yeah, wouldn't you? I mean, you blocked 2. This is a shaky team at best. Sure, put him on the field, make him do it again, and now he's in his end zone, Noel Prefontaine.
He can hammer it, and does this time. Sails this one all the way back to the 35 for Cunningham. Now the Jet turns it on, and he's back to midfield. Cunningham, solid return. Stopped by Cooper, 18 yards on the return after a 63-yard boot.
That was the best protection Noel Prefontaine has had in a punt in 2 games. That last play. The one that they got the penalty on, he almost got that one blocked. Okay, look at this protection now. This is how you get it done. This is the best protection they've had. Step up in the hole. Look at the time he has, the lane. Everyone has a man, and they're taking care of the responsibilities.
Lions are first down right at midfield. Nice play action fake by Damon Allen, and there's a lovely toss a little deep for the Jet. Confusion over there.
There really has been. It's been more in the second half for Damon Allen. And you mentioned Don Blair stopping on the pattern. Now, was it Don Blair's fault? Was it Damon Allen's fault? That's tough to know unless you're right in the huddle. But there's been receivers going one way and the ball going the other all night long for these guys.
However, the Lions have made big plays.
They have.
Played with more emotion.
And they've gone deep. They haven't hooked up on them all the time, but they've created some room by going deep, and that's why they have the lead right now.
Alfred Jackson has a couple of touchdowns for the Lions, who have a 7-point lead. Allen wrestled to the turf. Almost got up from the first attack from Tyrone Rogers.
He was getting up real slow. He got hooked and turned around, almost kept his balance, but really, as it turned out, all he really did was lose another 4 or 5 yards because they were swarming him.
Dunbrack there to pin him.
He's had a good game. Roger Dunbrack
has been around too.
Well, this defense has struggled tonight, but I'll tell you what, Roger Dunbrack and Antonius Bonner have been the highlights for the Argos. They played really well in this game.
Argos get it back in a hurry. 11:05 to go. Final quarter. Passaglia. Not deep. Andre Williams, and another marker goes down. Chuck Levy leading the tacklers. No return there. Enjoy second round coverage of the PGA Championship tomorrow with us at TSN. Beginning at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Tiger Woods has the lead. Sharing it with him, Scott Dunlap and Stephen Ames, who resides in Calgary, is 3 shots off the pace. Mike Weir had a tough day.
Can we claim him, Stephen Ames?
Well, yeah.
We're going to claim him because
we have one Canadian in the tournament and one resident Canadian.
Yeah.
Because Mike Weir lives out of the country at this point.
Well, let's claim him.
We did. Oh, absolutely. Mike's our guy.
Yeah, well, Mike's our guy.
Yeah, but he had a little tougher day, +4. Penalty was against the Lions. This is first down. Toronto. Far side. Mitchell has another one.
Well, Daryl Mitchell is just finding holes all over the place. Doesn't matter if it's deep, doesn't matter if it's short. He's finding the holes in the coverage. And they've moved him around. See, sometimes they play him outside, sometimes they play him inside, just goes out and sits outside. So I'll just slide out here, no one out here, I'll just sit right here. I'm here if you need me. You need me? Okay, thank you.
7 for Mitchell, 2nd and 3 for Toronto. Well read by the BC defense, and only about a yard for Ryan Terry.
Well, earlier in the game, John Hewart gambled in this situation, didn't get it, and he's sitting on the punt team, and I think it's a good decision. He's back in this game.
Well, this is a long gamble. This is almost 2.5.
Down by 7. He's definitely back in this football game. You punt the ball. You keep that field position battle on your side. Now, he is a little shaky on this punt team. We've mentioned that. But the last one, they had pretty good protection. So you send it out. It's a good decision, sound decision.
Cunningham moves back to his 3-yard line. Prefontaine will try and keep this out of the end zone if he can. It's a 7-point ball game. Cunningham from the 7, surrounded at the 11. Tom Hips in on the tackle. He spent a little time in BC until last week.
Yes, he did. Traded with Marcelo Simmons to the Toronto Argonauts for Dan Giancola. Tom Hips.
And we haven't seen Dan Giancola in a field goal situation tonight.
Well, before this one's over, we just may. Yeah, I thought Damon Allen was slow getting up after that last tackle. Well, guess what? Doug Nussmeier's getting a chance to play.
17 of 38, 255 yards, and a couple of brief appearances for Nussmeier.
Well, this is real time now. I mean, Doug Nussmeier there, it was the groin. I thought he got up slow. Doug Nussmeier gets a chance to play last week against Calgary, got a chance to play, but that game was out of reach for the BC Lions by that time. This is the real bullets are flying now. So this will be a good test and a good chance to see what he can do.
Lions begin at the 12 with Sean Millington. Someone grabbed an ankle and Millington went down after a couple of yards. It looked like Calvin Tingle, and it was.
Yeah, sure was.
So Allen's numbers, if he doesn't come back tonight, 50%, 162 yards, 2 TDs, and the 1 interception.
And tonight, past Ron Lancaster for all-time completions. If his night is over, he will have accomplished that.
9:04 to go in the final quarter at BC Place. It's been an interesting game. Nussmeier has a time count violation now.
Well, with the new quarterback in there, he was trying to audible. He was getting help from his offensive line. Chris Perez was telling him the blitz is coming. And so when he got the help from his offensive line that the blitz was coming, he tried to change the play on the line. He didn't get it off in time. Look at Chris Perez, number 62. See, he sees blitz. Blitz, here they come. Blitz is coming. It's right here. We got a bunch. Doug Nussmeier said, okay, wait a minute, let me change the play. Ran out of time.
2nd and 13, Lions at the 10, leading by a touchdown, but the Argos are pressing here. Millington takes a swing pass out of the backfield, and Nussmeier was down. There's a flag right at his feet.
Maybe late hit on the quarterback.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Toronto 91.
Oh, that could be huge.
Man, they're taking turns, really. This defense, Johnny Scott early in the game got the late hit on Damon Allen on the sideline, kept a drive alive, a drive that ended up in points. Tyrone Rogers does it, and Calvin Tiggle did it once.
Well, yeah, and look what would have happened. Louis Pasaglia would have been punting from his own goal line.
Oh, it's huge. There he is, 91, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hit him down. Oh, of course that's a penalty. It's a good call by the official. He can't even believe he did it.
Sean Millington has about 5.
That was an interesting reaction from Dave Ewell, the official over there. The guy that threw the flag on the late hit from Tyrone Rogers. He looked disgusted.
Yeah, now how silly can you be, Mr. Rogers, as he threw the flag?
He had the flag in his hand. He just looked disgusted in him. What are you doing?
2nd and 5. Nussmeier at the controls for the Lions. Avoided some pressure. Blair made the catch. The spot will be all important here. He made the catch and he was forced back. Let's bring in Farhan and see if we can get the update on Damon.
Well, John, I just had a chance to talk to Damon, and he said on his last play in the game, he was going to the ground and tried to brace himself with his left hand. He injured a couple of his fingers very badly. Now, they are in his non-throwing hand, but he said he has completely lost the feeling in them. He is going to try to go back in once he has the feeling back. Right now, he's got some ice on it.
Yeah, even if it's not the hand he's throwing with, he's got to take the ball from the center with 2 hands, and he's got to hold that ball with the other hand before he throws it. So you got to have feeling in your fingers. I thought he had that ice pack on his leg, but
about as close as it could be, but it will be a BC first down. And here's big Sean Millington. Dunbrack brought him down another 5 yards at least.
The BC Lions hold on and win this game, John. There'll be a couple plays that are huge in this game. 3 penalties from defenders: Tyrone Rogers, Calvin Tiggle, and Johnny Scott, that kept drives alive, and 2 of them so far have turned into points. We don't know about this one yet. And that other gamble on the 2-yard line, Greg Mons went in on the 3rd down gamble.
Got the touchdown.
Yeah.
New quarterback is in, and procedure calls do often become a little frequent.
Illegal procedure, BC 62. Still 2nd down.
So that's Perez.
All of a sudden, a few penalties in this game.
But it's fairly even to total yards anyway.
Well, it's evened out. It went against Toronto quite a bit. They've got a couple of the bad penalties, though.
More
the late
costly.
hits. Yeah, the more costly penalties.
2nd and 8. Lions at the 45. BC leading by a touchdown, and there's one more.
See, Doug Nussmeier wanted to change the play to one guy, to Alfred Jackson. Alfred Jackson got bump coverage. What that means is the defensive back stepped up and got right in the face of Alfred Jackson. When Jackson saw that, he signaled to Nussmeier. Nussmeier pointed to him, said, listen, just take it deep. Just go deep. Watch this. See, Jackson has yelled at him. Nussmeier, just prior to that snap, he pointed to Jackson and he said, go on deep, and they couldn't get the ball off again.
Now 2nd and 13, and here's the charge. Nussmeier won't get away from this, or will he? Running with the ball, first down BC. Nussmeier down to the 40, and there'll be a flag against Toronto one more time. Penalty marker goes down. It has to be against the Argos. I thought Nussmeier was wrapped up. I don't know how he got out.
Great run by Nussmeier. The penalty may be against the Lions, but I think it's after first down yardage.
See, how does he avoid all of those Argos down there?
Fred Perry
Well, he
had
ran
him
right by Fred Perry. And
Vernon
then
Mitchell.
outran Vernon Mitchell.
I believe the penalty was on Jimmy Cunningham. See him holding right there on Wayne Shaw? He had grabbed that jersey. But that was way after first down. Yardage was gained, so Doug Nussmeier gets his team out of a huge hole. You want to talk about quarterback controversy?
33 yards.
Yikes.
For Nussmeier. Well, you're stirring it up again.
Well, I just, he's making it happen. I'm not. I'm just sort of reminding everybody. I still think Damon's the starter, but wow.
Another flag is down, and Millington is inside the 40. 5:49 to go in the final quarter at BC Place.
Well, Kelvin Tiggle is upset about something on the sideline, and he's over there talking to the defensive line coach. He was fired up and was in the face of Walter Highsmith. He is getting tired of something out there. He doesn't like the calls being made or something, because he walked over to the bench. Walter Highsmith and him had a shouting match. Defensive line coach was standing there, and they went, and he's still crazy. Penalties against the Lions.
No question.
But there's something bothering Kelvin Anderson.
Well, it was
Kelvin
holding.
Tiggle.
That was the call. So the Lions look at 1st and 20 from the 50. Sean Millington still going. Millington gets almost all of the necessary yardage. 18 at least. Behind Corey Mantica. I don't see a flag anywhere.
That's a switch. Kelvin Tiggle, I would be very interested to know what he is upset about, because, man, I thought they were going to go to blows. And I'm not sure if it's the calls being made by Walter Highsmith. Almost didn't get the handoff to Sean Millington, but what a nice job he does of making a couple people miss.
Well, 19 yards. He needed 20 for the first down.
And it gives him a chance to just run the ball on 2nd down, or maybe throw a little play action in here and go on 3rd down. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe the time to try the old sneak play.
Why are you talking out of the side of your mouth?
Well, because you got to do that when it's a sneak play.
You're breaking me up here. No sneak play. It's Sean Millington. 1st down. Routine.
Kelvin Tiggle's frustrated.
Nussmeier has engineered a pretty good drive and made some big plays himself. He started way back in his own zone, back near the 10-yard line, and he has taken time off the clock.
Remember, we were talking, John, about the big plays, a couple penalties against the Argos, the gamble on 3rd down, 2 yards out that paid off for the Lions. Well, add the Nussmeier run.
Oh, that was huge.
If the Lions win.
Well, the Lions have the lead.
Yeah.
But they also have the football, and they're taking precious seconds off the clock every time Millington gets his hands on the ball. 4:26 remaining in the final quarter. The Lions would be absolutely devastated to lose this game. At one point, 3rd quarter, BC had a 22-point lead.
But I think, the positive thing for the Lions right now is that they've made huge improvements offensively in this game, in my mind. Number one, they've gone vertical, and we've hammered that home all game long. Number two, they've started to make plays. Alfred Jackson has come out of what has been a slump for him.
If it was a Lion in hibernation, he's out of it.
He is.
Robert Drummond, and he'll be short of the 1st down. It was 2nd and 9. However, the Lions are in Lou Pasaglia's range.
This will be a close one, and they are sending out Lou, because Greg Mons has said this year it's the 35-yard line is the cutoff. This field goal would be 40. So that's a little outside the cutoff.
Dare we mention that Louis hasn't missed a field goal attempt all season long.
Yeah,
he's 12 for 12.
And that's probably why the 5 yards doesn't really matter to Greg Mons. The guy's perfect. Put him out there, middle of the field, sure.
From the 40, Lou Pasaglia.
Split him in half.
Yes. Huge drive for the Lions to take some pressure off, but there's still time for the Argos. 3:25 to play in a 10-point ball game. Down to the final 3 minutes here at the stadium at BC Place. We've seen just about everything here tonight.
You know, it's been a funny game. A lot of big plays in this game.
Not a great game in a lot of ways, but
well, it's been sloppy at times, but then big plays, and you wonder who will make the next one. I got my money on Daryl Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell gets his chance right now. 3:20 to go. It's the Lions leading the Argos by 10. Jimmy Kemp can't find anybody. Now, oh! Ryan Terry.
Roger Rhinson, backup linebacker, is getting a chance to play, and he was bearing down big time on Ryan Terry.
Quick timeout here. Jimmy Kemp gets a chance to talk it over with the head coach and find a way to score 10 points in a hurry. Argos' next home game against the BC Lions. The rematch is next Thursday. Tickets are available. That's the number to call. There's the Beast, and the Beast was unveiled a couple of weeks ago when the Lions unceremoniously dismissed their mascot, Leo the Lion, after 30 years of dedicated service.
The Beast has a big head.
Beast has a big head. I guess Leo was a little long in the tooth, but 25 years in one of those fuzzy suits would be a little bit too much.
That's tough.
Here's Kemp over the middle. He's got Mitchell again. Another huge play by Daryl Mitchell this night.
So wait a minute. Your question was who will make the next big play, and my answer was what?
Did you say Daryl?
Did I mention Daryl? There he is.
I was thinking the other Daryl.
Break across the middle. No one around. There's not a Lion around. Not even the Beast.
28 yards for the Argos, who are taking this right down to the wire. They need 10. That one is batted down.
You know, you wonder, though, the Lions defensively, especially on this play, 2nd and 10, where do you think Jimmy Kemp might go with the football? I'm going to be very interested to see what the Lions do defensively to take care of 87. They got to do something. Put double coverage over there. Get one of those defensive backs some help. That's called double coverage on Mookie. Run hard, or else I'll be mad at you. Or maybe not.
Lindsay.
Maybe it was something else.
He did point a finger right back at himself. I'll be mad. 2nd and 10, huge play. Argos here, down by 10. Kemp near side, has Mitchell, can't hang on. Tight coverage by Derek Lewis, number 17.
Derek Lewis was there, but I'll tell you what, he got a little bit of a break because Daryl Mitchell juggled it. Because if he makes the catch, he's real close to first down territory. If he catches it the first time, he drops the ball, but watch this. Ball's on its way. If he catches it there, he's got separations. He catches it. But he juggles it. That gives Derek Lewis that split second to get there.
Sort of off a shoulder pad. 3rd and 10. Argos pretty well have to go for it here. They're down by 10 points. And they need a first down in the worst way.
Here they come.
Charges on Kemp. Can't find anyone out there. And it's batted down, or at least Kemp is. And he's hammered to the turf. Herman Smith on Jimmy Kemp. And the play simply wasn't there for the Argos.
Well, the Lions went with full-out pressure. Kemp had a little bit of time, but I don't think he had a target.
No, I think he had a ton of time, Glenn, but he couldn't find anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Deep drop, lots of time. And he gets hammered. So the Lions get it back. 2:25 to go. BC trying to protect a 10-point lead. Good way to do it. Hand it off to Sean Millington. Well, not much for Millington there, but he'll take a little time out.
On the gamble, John, you know, you think with the blitz, where would Jimmy Kemp want to go? He'd want to go to Daryl Mitchell. Look at Daryl Mitchell. The problem is, see, he's got some room on Lewis, but you see Michael Jenkins run through the play there? Michael Jenkins, number 27, was in the throwing lane. That's why Kemp couldn't see him. So Mitchell had his man beat, which was Derek Lewis, but because they were too close together, play didn't work.
Nussmeier. Oh, it's intercepted. Argos get another chance. Off Millington.
Donovan Carter with the big interception. Tipped it right to him. The rookie gives the Argos new life. Penetration from Calvin Tiggle and Johnny Scott causes part of the problem. See Scott upfield, number 72? Nussmeier has to kind of throw it way in front of Millington. He gets a little hand on it, and Donovan Carter makes a big play to keep the Argos' hopes alive.
Time to play, 2:13.
And the pressure mounts.
Has seen it all happen tonight.
You can cut the air with the knife right around those two coaches.
Huge pressure on two coaches in a critical game. And it's early in this CFL season. Heat is on, flags are down. And Kemp can't connect with Daryl Mitchell.
You know what they're trying to do now defensively, John, with the Lions? They're trying to get Derek Lewis matched up on Mitchell. They've moved him around now. They're putting Derek Lewis out there on number 87, seeing if he can't win that matchup.
Holding, Toronto number 67. First down repeater.
Because they're not doing anything special. Like, see, Lockbaum gets underneath a little bit. There's Mitchell on the out, and Derek Lewis is going to flash in your screen from the left side right there, and he almost has a crack at the interception. He's holding his own right now. And that's what the Lions have decided to do. Rather than double team Daryl Mitchell and maybe make themselves vulnerable elsewhere, what they want to do is see if Derek Lewis can hold his own against one of the best in the game, Daryl Mitchell.
Here's another problem for the Argonauts. Kim is down on one knee. And this offensive line is already a little leaky at times, and if not inexperienced, certainly has not been together for the significant amount of time that an offensive line has to get together to gel.
Yeah, and it's just been inconsistency, and you can't be consistent when you don't play with the same guys, especially on the offensive line. You always kind of, if you can visually see this, if you put a chain together and there's 5 links on the chain, an offensive line, that chain moves together. If they move to the left or they move to the right or they back up, that chain has to move together. If one of those links goes a different direction, the chain is broken.
Yes, I understand.
You get that vision? You get the
chain is
visually?
broken. Yeah, I think it might have been well described with your telestrator, or more easily understood. But what the Argos are missing is their best offensive lineman in Chad Folk. Out with a knee injury. He's the center, so the adjustments up there have been numerous. And Jimmy Kemp goes out there, facing 1st and 20, with another replacement on the offensive line. And we're just wondering if that chain will hold.
Well, they take one link out, put another link in, and hope that it holds.
Kemp to the shotgun. 1st and 20. He's got the pinball, and Mike Clemens has about 9 yards. Lockbaum made the tackle. Pinball, the clutch catch. Couple of those last week for number 31 in overtime for touchdowns.
Absolutely, and Kemp took a big hit in the process. But they're going to go into hurry up. You know, in the supporting cast, if Daryl Mitchell is having trouble, the supporting cast has got to come up, and that's where pinball comes in. 2nd and 11.
Kemp shotgun again. Releases in a hurry. Has Jenkins. Jenkins has only a couple of yards.
Hey, Roger Rydson in a backup role has come in that linebacking core, and he's come up with some points. Now the question is, they're down by 10, John. Do they kick the field goal now or gamble on 3rd down? Because it's right now it would be.
They need 2 scores to tie.
Right, it would be a 53-yard field goal. It's a long one.
Marini has missed tonight, so they're going for it. There it is. 1st down. Stefan Potasic makes the catch, and a huge one.
Okay, well now, if they get into a 3rd down situation, in this situation, now they will kick the field goal. I'm sure John Heward was just saying 53 yards is too much of a gamble. I'd rather gamble on 3rd down than gamble on that long of a field goal.
But right now they go for the touchdown.
Absolutely.
2 plays.
Well, absolutely. They get back in the 3rd down.
Tipped. Mitchell couldn't hang on.
Oh,
Boy, he made a valiant effort to get to that ball.
Watch the closing speed, though. Sorry, John. Watch the closing speed from Eric Carter. Eric Carter just put it into 5th gear. Eric Carter, number 2, up in the top of your screen. He dropped his man. Watch the close. 5 hard steps and bam, down he goes hard. Daryl Mitchell drops the ball from the hit from Eric Carter. We haven't talked about Eric Carter all game, and that's a good thing if you're a defensive back. 3 picks on the year. He's the leader in that secondary on the corner.
1:24 remaining in the final quarter. Argos last gasp at it here, down by 10. Potasic makes another catch, but he's short by about 8 yards. Raphael Robinson.
Well, now I'd be surprised if they don't kick the field goal.
Well, only a couple of yards on the gain, so
they're not going to.
3rd down and 8.
And you see, you know, you kick the field goal.
Take 3 here.
Yeah.
What you say?
Well, you're down 10. You kick the
You're questioning the coach. 3rd and 8. Bad pattern to throw it into. Jenkins was the target, and Raphael Ball was there. You say kick for 3 and hope something else happens in the final minute.
You got to score twice. You need a field goal and a touchdown to tie the football game.
Yeah, doesn't matter what the order is. I mean,
it doesn't
obviously
matter
the
the order.
touchdown is more difficult to get, but
on 3rd down and 8, you kick the field goal. And I can't believe that they don't kick the field goal. You need both. You're 3rd down and 8. Raphael Ball did a nice job of not interfering going over the top of Michael Jenkins on the play, but kick the field goal, then you try the onside kick, because you're going to have to try the onside kick anyway.
Right. I agree with you. Now, the odds were a little long of scoring 10 points in the last minute and 5 seconds, but you might have grabbed 3, and then some other things might happen, like a fumble on a play like that. Right?
John, it's a long shot. I agree. It's an absolute long shot, but you have to make fundamentally sound decisions, because then if you do and they turn out for you, you got a chance. You know,
yeah, some decisions tonight have not worked out for John Heward.
Yeah, I can understand the gamble when you're 53 yards away on a field goal. That's a long field goal. You know,
and your kicker is not.
You're 50-50 try. So yeah, that's too long. Okay, so gamble on that one, but that was a chip shot.
Take the 3. Sean Millington. We'll just about wrap things up for the BC Lions with that. 36 seconds.
And it should take some pressure off Greg Mons, John. I mean, he has been under some pressure this week. It's an article in the Province newspaper today that suggested that Mons walked into a meeting and talked to his team and said, listen, guys, you look me in the eye and you tell me if it's been my fault, I'll step down. And the guys came in and said, it's not your fault. They cleared the air there, and this takes some pressure off him.
Well, the Lions did play with more enthusiasm tonight, without question. Millington has had a nice evening as he continues to run it down.
Executed offensively, gave up some big plays defensively, and
no question.
And gave up some big plays against a good player in Daryl Mitchell.
This was far from a perfect 10.
Yeah, but you know what they did? They won 2 phases, John, of the game. They won special teams with a block kick for a touchdown, and they won on offense. And you win 2 out of 3, you're going to win.
Yeah, Millington has had a nice night. 127 plus 23. You added up, Glenn.
123. I'm not sure. I'll add this.
Anyway.
Nice night and a good night for Greg Mons to hang on. I mean, gave up some plays, but found a way to win.
Well, the pressure would have been absolutely huge had Greg Mons lost this with a 22-point lead in the 3rd quarter. So John Heward will now face the pressure and maybe be questioned on a couple of decisions he made tonight.
Well, that's what we said, you know, question on the decisions, and there was a big question mark. Not to say they could have gotten the 10, but how to kick the field goal.
The other point of it is he'll be questioned on special teams play, because 2 block punts, that's cost this team a lot of points in the last couple of weeks. Adidas game ball goes to Alfred Jackson. And why not? A couple of touchdown catches, 1 real beauty. And when you look at AJ, number 7 for the BC Lions, this guy had 0 TD catches prior to tonight.
And the guy he beat, he was talking to right there, Adrian Smith.
There you go. It's a 10-pointer on CFL Live. The Lions get the monkey off their back with a 10-point win.
Swipe your club card at Safeway.
CFL football on TSN is brought to you by Molson Canadian. I am Canadian.
Big decision at the end there for the Argos not to kick the field goal. What would you guys have done? Kick the field goal?
Kick the field
Kick
goal.
the field goal, no question.
It is unanimous. And unanimously, we must now leave you. Our next game is coming up, shortly. Date is Friday Night Football, 9 Eastern. Eskimos versus the Rough Riders. Riders still trying to break that 15-game winless streak. Eskimos have won 4 in a row. TSN.ca/CFL. Please read Schultz's article. It's worthy of a Pulitzer. Next edition of The Desk coming up, very shortly. More Baseball Plus Tiger leading again the first round of the PGA. Up next, extreme wipeouts in progress. This has been a presentation of TSN, Canada's most watched sports network.